Every time I scroll past those angst-filled novels, where the MC collects 700 disappointments before finally deciding to leave, I can't help but laugh. Why give women so many chances to hurt you like that? A smart man should cut ties the moment he realizes the relationship is toxic. So when I was isekai'd as the contract husband of a female CEO, my motto was to be obedient and sensible. That's why when the female CEO, not wanting me to bother her and her white moonlight, handed me an unlimited black card, I snatched that card immediately, ran straight to the shopping mall, over 10 kilometers away from them, and started a crazy shopping spree. Since I couldn't have that woman's heart, the money's in my hands now, so why not spend it? In the elegant private room of a Western restaurant, Guing Han's phone kept ringing incessantly. She casually glanced at the phone, picked up a glass of red wine, and took a leisurely sip. Chen. Ji looked at her with eyes filled with both love and endurance. Sister Guing Han, today is your wedding anniversary. If you do this, what will Mu Chen think of me? You don't need to care about what he thinks. Guing Han's phone rang again. This time she picked it up to check. Account ending in 8888 just spent 19,999 RMB. Account 8888 spent 500,000 RMB in 2 years. Of marriage, this was the first time I swiped her card. Guing Han's finger lightly brushed the screen. She curled her lips coldly, her gaze full of hidden meaning. Chen Jia bit his lip hard. Sister Guing Han, maybe you should head back first. Before Guing Han could even speak, the notifications kept coming in. Account ending in 8888 spent 688,888 RMB. Account ending in 8888 spent 988,888 RMB. For the first time I felt the joy of spending money without looking at the price, enjoying the feeling of being served like a true god. The shopping desire suppressed for over 25 years suddenly erupted uncontrollably. Luxury watches, supercars, high-end tailored suits. It wasn't enough, seriously. No matter how much I bought, it wasn't enough. Guing Han's phone chimed every now and then, but she didn't bother to look anymore. It's just that the atmosphere at the dining table had become visibly silent and oppressive. After finishing the meal, her phone had rung a total of 18 times. Only after paying the bill did she glance at her phone, just as she was about to put it away. Su Jingyao called. Guing Han, I have something regarding your husband here. I don't know if I should say it or not. Through the phone screen, Guing Han could even sense Su Jingyao's laughter. Her face turned cold and gloomy. Spit it out already. Su Jingyao couldn't help but burst out laughing. I just saw your husband at the club. He called for 7 models at once. If you don't get over here, your head is about to turn into a vast green prairie. Mu Chen went to a club and called 7 models. How is that possible? Guing Han laughed in anger. Are you blind? Don't say that. Your husband dressed up today, and I almost didn't recognize him. Su Jingyao sent her a photo. In the photo, a man with neat short hair, wearing a high-end trendy black suit, and expensive custom-made leather shoes. Just his back profile was enough to make one imagine a peerless beauty. Su Jingyao sent another message. Do you even recognize your own husband, Gu? Guing Han thought she was definitely blind. This is Mu Chen. How is that possible? Sister Guing Han, maybe you should just go back. I can watch the movie by myself. Guing Han put her phone away and casually went to the movies with Chen Jia. Chen Ji posted on his friend circle to celebrate the premiere of his first film. 20 minutes later, Guing Han received a notification of a bank card expenditure. I had topped up 1 million yuan at the Royal Entertainment Club. She couldn't sit still anymore. The lights in the club's private room were shimmering. Music and dancing were in full swing as I leaned back on the sofa, drinking a bottle of red wine worth over 100,000 RMB. 7 models with breathtaking figures were providing extremely attentive service. One was helping me treat the wounds that had healed on my forehead. One sat on the sofa, massaging my head. One was behind me, massaging my shoulders. One was peeling fruit for me, and the others were singing and dancing. This service is truly a heaven on earth. This is the scene I've dreamed of countless times. I was so satisfied that at the manager's invitation, I waved my hand and used Guing Han's card to top up another 1 million RMB. Guing Han pushed open the private room door and immediately saw me touching a model's collarbone, unable to pull my hand away like I'd never seen a woman before. Feel the 0 RMB gym. Training, how long has it been? I have some here too. Do you want to feel it, big brother? I have some here as well. The young, beautiful girls competed to show off their figures. I watched until I almost had a nosebleed. The life of the rich is seriously freaking awesome. I was just about to touch a bit more when a bang sounded, followed by a cold shout that rang out. Everyone get the hell out. I didn't expect Guing Han would come back to interrupt my good time. I reluctantly squeezed the model's waist once. You girls head out first. I'll find you later when I'm free. Guing Han's face turned dark, like the sky before a storm. Very soon after, in the private room, only the two of us remained. I leaned against the sofa and observed her. She truly lives up to being the woman the original host loved at first sight. This face immediately made all those models from earlier pale in comparison. Sharp eyebrows, cold eyes. A high straight bridge of the nose and deep-set features. Lines as clear as a masterpiece of creation. The long pink dress draped down neatly, highlighting her graceful figure. The pleated skirt was elegant, and the over-the-knee black stockings hugged her legs, perfectly showcasing her tall and haughty physique. With her hands on her hips, just standing there radiated a fiery attraction that made people crave her. If she were a model, tisk tisk, I couldn't help but imagine her look while modeling when I heard her voice full of rage, taking my money to come here and cuck me. Muchen, do you really think I won't do anything to you? Guing Han's face darkened as she looked at me. For the first time, she couldn't help but observe me closely. My previous, dull and rural hairstyle had been replaced by a neat and refreshing shortcut. I spoke up boldly. Your money? What do you mean? We are husband and wife. Isn't your money also my money? You can spend money to keep your white moonlight entertained. So why can't I spend money to find some companionship when you went for a candlelit dinner and a movie with Chenja? I didn't say you were cucking me or come to bother you. I just found a few people to keep me company and relax a bit, yet you burst in here, all furious. Doing this not only ruins your grace, but if Chenju sees this, he might think you're jealous because you like me, and it would break his heart. I wasn't afraid of her at all. In the book it frequently described her disgust for the original hosts, to the point that even a light touch made her nauseous. In short, she was allergic to the original host's touch. If she were to get physical with me, it would be like self-torture for her. So even if we slept in the same bed, I'd still be safe. Guing Han was so angry she laughed. She raised her hand to grab my chin, her eyes mocking as if she had seen through my intentions. Don't act all holier than thou. You intentionally swiped my card and put on such a big show. Wasn't it just to get me to come here? I looked up at her, my palm lightly resting on her hip, caressing her body's curves through the thin fabric. So you abandoned Chenja to come here. Does that prove I'm more important to you than Chenja? Guing Han's expression immediately darkened as she tightly gripped my wrist, her strength increasing by several levels. I told you, don't give them an inch and take a mile. And don't get delusional. This is the last time. If I see you using the name Mr. Gu again to do things that tarnish the Gu family's reputation, then your seat as Mr. Gu has officially come to an end. After saying that, she disgustedly flung my hand away and grabbed a tissue nearby to wipe her hands, exactly as the book described. She loathed any physical contact with me. I almost burst out laughing. Rubbed my chin and sat back down on the sofa, crossing my legs and looking up at her nonchalantly. You won't even let me sleep with you, so this husband title of yours is something I've stopped caring about long ago. Now, throw the divorce agreement over here if I hesitate. For even a second, I'm a dog. Guing Han froze and glanced at me, a smirk gradually spreading across her lips. Divorce, are you sure? Back then you put in so much effort to marry me, and just now you acted like you craved me uncontrollably. Yet now you want a divorce. That's truly the most ridiculous thing ever. My gaze lingered on her face for a moment before moving down, carrying a hint of wildness and bluntness. I gave her the ultimate choice. Either let me sleep with you or we divorce. Guing Han's face instantly turned cold. She called her assistant right in front of me. Draft a divorce agreement and bring it to the house tomorrow morning. The original host was hopelessly in love. Even without getting her love, he refused to divorce, insisting on forcing things, until he ended up with his family ruined. There are plenty of women in this world. Why should I die hanging from a withered tree? I'm not about that life. I picked up the half-finished glass of wine next to me and downed it so as not to let it go to waste. I put down the wine glass and stood up my tone, sounding as if her not letting me sleep with her was her own huge loss. You chose this, so don't regret it. Guing Han laughed out of pure anger. I didn't even bother to look at her. Threw on my coat, grabbed my newly bought watch and phone, and decisively strode out. Guing Han stood behind me watching, not even caring about my rich young master image anymore. She was even more certain that I was only acting this unusually because I was wasted daring to defy her and demand a divorce. Neither of us said a word the whole way as I took her car back home and went straight upstairs to my room. Guing Han's mind flashed back to the person who demanded a divorce tonight. She gave a cold, faint laugh. She wanted to see what my face would look like tomorrow when she threw that divorce agreement in my face. Passing by my room, she heard my voice echoing from inside and stopped in her tracks. Inside the room, I was singing at the top of my lungs. Today is a good day. Everything I wished for has come true. Tomorrow will be another happy day. Precious time waits for no one. Want to fly to the sky side by side with the sun. The world is waiting for me to change it. Dreaming big dreams, and I don't care who sees. With me, everything is possible. Guing Han heard me wailing like a madman from the alcohol, leaned in, intending to stop my ruckus. and turned the doorknob only to find I had locked it from the inside. The man who usually the moment she got home would try every way to seduce her and sleep with her had now locked the door. I continued shouting, I believe that I am me. I believe in tomorrow. I believe youth has no horizon. At the seashore during sunset, Guing Han saw that I was so wasted and making such a mess that she finally just walked away. The room I was in was the master bedroom, since Guing Han refused to share a room with the original host, so she chose to sleep in the guest room. Now this place has become my own private room. I looked around the vast and luxurious room, stroking the expensive watches in the cabinet, with a wardrobe full of designer clothes, while happily singing along. I soaked in a massive bathtub big enough for two people, put on pajamas that felt insanely good, and lay on the large, soft, and comfy bed. I couldn't sleep. I basically couldn't sleep at all. It felt just like I was dreaming, so beautiful it was surreal. The next morning, Guing Han woke up to find no breakfast prepared on the table like usual. She glanced at my room door and couldn't help but smirk in disdain, as expected. This man wants to play the coward now that he's sober. Recalling my warning about demanding a divorce last night, she curled her lips coldly through the divorce agreement on the coffee table and headed to the office. I had never slept on a bed as soft as this one, so I slept until noon before finally waking up, seeing myself still in this flashy room. I confirmed that I really had been isekai'd into the book. I started to review the plot once more. In the book, our marriage lasted no more than 3 years, meaning in less than a year, Guing Han will bankrupt the Mu family and force me to leave empty-handed. The business war plot points in the book were only glossed over, with no specific details. I didn't know what schemes Guing Han used, but since the rich life is this heavenly, no matter what, I can't let the family go bankrupt. I got up, packed my things, and went downstairs. Seeing the divorce agreement on the coffee table, I immediately grabbed a pen and signed it, hesitating for even a second would be disrespectful to this divorce. After signing, I took that card of Guing Han's out of my bag and placed it on top of the agreement. After that, I took the original host's important belongings and returned to the Mu family home. Evil second male lead, please. I'm going back to be the MC of my own life. Seeing his son return, my father immediately put down the newspaper to greet me. Mu Chen, why are you back at this hour? Did Guing Han bully you again? I replied, no, she didn't. Dad asked again, really? He held my hand, looking a bit skeptical. Usually at this time, I'd be busy delivering lunch to Guing Han. How could I ever remember them? Dad continued. Then why didn't you call ahead before coming back? So I could have the servants prepare your favorite dishes. When did you change your hair? It looks good. This outfit is nice too. The man in his 40s was very well preserved, looking at least 10 years younger than his age. In his eyes right now, there was only me. While talking to me, he called for Nanny Zhang to make a few things I liked. Every gesture radiated the joy of seeing his son. Looking at him, my heart suddenly ached. The things I had always craved but never had while I was alive unexpectedly came to me this way after death. Dad smiled and said, let me call your mother and tell her to come home for lunch too. Before I could stop him, the call was already done. I took the opportunity to observe the house a bit. The more I looked, the better my mood became. Dad ended the call and pulled me over to ask about everything. It was clear that since the original host married Guing Han, he had always worried I wasn't happy. He comforted me, Mu Chen, if anything happens, you must tell us. Your parents will always be your backup and your armor. I remembered how I used to be bullied by classmates at school, and when I went home to tell my parents, they didn't care at all and even gave me a scolding, saying there were so many students. Why did they only bully you and not anyone else? From then on, even if I was bullied at school, I didn't dare tell them anymore. Looking at the handsome and warm father before me, thinking about his tragic end in the book, I couldn't help but step forward and hug him. In my heart, I was determined to rewrite their ending. His body suddenly stiffened. How long had it been since his son hugged him like this? I spoke with determination. Dad, I'm sorry. I've made you and Mom worry too much these past few years. It won't be like that anymore. Hearing his son's words, Dad's eyes suddenly turned red. Ever since his son got married, he came home less and less. Even when he did, it was always because of Guing Han. Back then, Dad said you can't force love. But his son insisted that if it wasn't her, he wouldn't marry at all. They only had this one son. As a child, he almost lost his life, so they always treated him like a precious treasure. When he wanted to marry her, they gave in to his wishes. After the marriage, seeing him unhappy, seeing his pride and his inner spark slowly disappear bit by bit, seeing his world revolve only around Guing Han until he couldn't even distinguish right from wrong anymore. As a father, he saw it all and felt the pain in his heart. Every time he came home crying about the grievances Guing Han caused him, his father would stay awake all night, unable to sleep. He truly had exhausted himself worrying. Dad said shakily, I just want you to be safe. I could hear the choke in his voice as I pulled away from the hug. I saw Dad's eyes were red and tears were falling. Seeing him cry made my own eyes well up. I reached out to wipe his tears and smiled. Why are you crying, Dad? Look at me, aren't I doing just fine now? Dad looked at his son, sensing that this time I had returned changed. Changed a lot, almost like returning to the good old days. Mom was home and she even brought Bai Ningbing along. Bai Ningbing is the daughter of my mom's best friend, 3 years older than the original host. After her parents passed away, she lived with her grandmother. It was hard for the elderly to raise a child, so Mujai cared for her like her own daughter, always supporting her in life and studies. Until she graduated from university, during her college years, she interned at the MU group, and after graduation, she became Mom's indispensable right-hand woman. I stole a glance at her and caught her looking right back. In the book, the original host always saw her as an older sister. While chasing Guing Han, he countless times told her exactly how much he loved Guing Han. He even went to her to ask for advice. The persona she displayed before the original host was that of a doting older sister, protective, supportive, and helpful. She never crossed the line, and even the readers didn't think much of it until she heard that Guing Han and the host had divorced. She went looking for him and found the scene of his car accident. She tremblingly picked him up. Seeing the host's blood-covered body, her eyes turned red. She kept wiping the blood from the corners of his mouth, calling out, "Xiao Chen Zhou. I regret it, I regret not stopping you from marrying her in the first place." The deep love in her eyes was like a thick, unshakable mist. In that moment, she didn't want to hide it anymore. She wanted the host to know that she liked him, had liked him for many, many years. She desperately tried to save him, but no matter what, she couldn't hold on. She could only watch as his life force bit faded away right before her eyes. This was the only psychological description of her in the book, and it was also her most shining moment in the story. It left readers shocked, yet heartbroken with regret. It was at that exact moment that I both loved and hated this character. Dad said, "Sister Ningbing is here too." The host didn't know Bai Ningbing liked him. I decided to keep pretending I didn't know for now. Following Dad's lead, I also gave her a greeting. Sister Ningbing was also wearing a short dress. That outfit on Guing Han looked cold and noble, creating a distant stay-away vibe. But on Bai Ningbing, it looked pure and elegant, giving off a warm, jade-like familiarity. She looked at me, and in both her words and her eyes, there was a hint of doting, mixed with gentleness. "Short hair really does suit you better." I replied, "Exactly, I think so too." Bai Ningbing continued to praise that my clothes were also very nice. I laughed and said that it just proves lately my aesthetic taste has leveled up. The original host was very insecure in front of Guing Han, but in front of Bai Ningbing, he was always confident, because she had always given the original host the kind of doting treatment fit for a little prince. I tried my best to act the part, but I could only nail about 80% of it. The other 20% was because I knew about her secret crush, which made me feel a bit unnatural. Bai Ningbing smiled and changed the subject. "Aren't you busy delivering lunch?" To her every single day. "How could you bear to come back here this afternoon?" I fiddled with my wristwatch. The weather is this sweltering, and she worried that delivering lunch was too hard on me. So she told me to stop. As soon as the words left my mouth, not just Bai Ningbing, but even my dad and mom who were chatting, all looked over this way. They clearly didn't believe it. Naturally, the people who care about me the most don't believe Guing Han would ever be good to me. And yet the original host believed it. Bai Ningbing raised an eyebrow. "For real?" I shook my hand. "Sister, look at my hands. Do these look like hands meant for cooking?" Bai Ningbing spoke as I looked up at her. Her eyes were gentle, warm, and very beautiful. A boy's hands should stay exactly like that. I don't know if it was because I knew she secretly loved me, but while chatting, my face felt a bit hot. If I didn't say something, it would feel even more awkward. I dared to touch models' hands at the club because there was no romance involved and no responsibility needed. But once it involves actual feelings, I'm basically a total noob with zero experience facing this kind of exposed secret affection. I had absolutely no idea how to handle it. I shifted the subject and asked how the company was doing lately. Bai Ningbing casually replied, "Pretty good." I pressed further, "What does pretty good mean?" Bai Ningbing couldn't help but glance at me. "We've been in contact with several big projects recently. If we land them, the company can take a step further. Taking on several big projects, by then won't the working capital be spread too thin? Supply chain gets cut and the Gu family just stands by and watches. Could this be Guing Han's actual strategy?" I spoke up, interrupting, "Can the company even handle several big projects like that?" "Sister, I don't think the current market environment is very good. The most important thing for the company right now is to stay stable and ensure there's enough cash flow to deal with any risks the company might face." I couldn't be too direct, so I just wanted to give a subtle hint. Bai Ningbing looked at me, her gaze becoming a bit more searching. "Since when did you start caring about company business?" The original host never cared about the company's affairs at all. I suddenly realized this, lightly touching the diamonds on my wristwatch. I've been around Guing Han's company for so long, so I've managed to learn a thing or two. Bai Ningbing fell silent, glanced at her, and couldn't help but remind her once more. You and mom must consider these projects very carefully. Specifically, you need to look at whether we can actually carry the potential risks they might bring. Bai Ningbing stared at me, trying to read something from my face. She asked, "Did you hear something from Guing Han's side? Do you want us to give up the competition and hand the project over to her?" The original host was a total simp. In the past, he had many times forced his family to help her. Now that I was suddenly stopping them from bidding, it was only natural for Bai Ningbing to think that way. I explained, "No, it's not like that. It's just that I've been having dreams lately, dreaming that our family company went bankrupt." Bai Ningbing looked at me without saying anything, but it was clear she didn't believe me. I hesitated, glanced at my parents not far away, leaned in close to her and covered my mouth with my hand. Actually, I accidentally overheard Guing Han talking about wanting to bankrupt the Mu family. After saying that, I pulled back to keep some distance. Then I saw Bai Ningbing's earlobes turn bright red. I didn't expect that just doing that would flirt with her. Feeling awkward, I pretended not to notice and lowered my voice. I'm afraid mom and dad couldn't take it, so I didn't dare tell them about the company situation. I don't really understand these things, so I can only leave it to you. Bai Ningbing propped her elbow on the back of the sofa, absently pinching her ear as she looked at me. "And you, what are your plans?" Before I could answer, Dad came over to call us for lunch. Seeing a table full of delicacies, my mood was incredible. Dad offered me food. "Eat up. You've gotten thinner lately." I stared at the spread and swallowed hard. It's been so long since I've had a home-cooked meal. I'm starving. After staying home for a few days, I'll definitely gain the weight back. When Dad heard that, he kept piling more food onto my plate. "If you want home-cooked meals, I'll have someone deliver them to you every day." I explained, "No need, Dad. From now on, I'm staying at home for good." In an instant, both Mom and Dad were stunned. Bai Ningbing also paused and looked at me. I put down my chopsticks and looked at my parents seriously. "I'm planning to divorce Guing Han. I used to think that as long as I tried my best, I could make her love me. But now I understand. Feelings can't be forced. I don't want to love her anymore. Now I just want to come home and be with you guys." I spoke very calmly, without any sadness or regret. However, the original host's feelings for Guing Han were so intense. In the eyes of the Mu family, it was too deep. Mom and Dad looked at me. They didn't believe I could just let go like that. They thought I was just venting and would change my mind soon. "Why aren't you guys saying anything? Don't tell me you're tired of me and don't want me freeloading at home." Dad snapped out of it and added my favorite dish to my bowl. He smiled brightly. "How could that be having you back? Makes me happier than anything." Mom picked up her phone and immediately transferred 10 million RMB to my card. "If you want to come back, then come back. I have more than enough to support you for 10 lifetimes." Parents who love their children and parents who don't love their children are truly worlds apart. I looked at Dad, who was still busy piling delicious food into my bowl, and then at the money Mom had just transferred to me. I suddenly thought of my biological parents. Growing up, every tasty dish in the house was reserved solely for my younger brother. If I even reached out, Mom would smack my hand. I cried for a day and a night because I wanted to go to college, but they still refused, forcing me to choose between getting a job or getting married. Working out there without a degree, it was impossible to find a good job. But they never cared about how hard I worked or how tired. I was only about how much money I made. They only complained that I brought home too little. They only knew how to use parental debt to emotionally blackmail me. If I were to die, they probably wouldn't shed a single tear. Looking at these parents before me, my eyes suddenly stung. "Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Mom. From now on, I'll only love the two of you." In the book after the Mu family went bankrupt, Mom couldn't handle the shock of knowing her daughter-in-law was the mastermind. Her high blood pressure led to a brain hemorrhage, leaving her unconscious. In a vegetative state, Dad couldn't handle his wife being a vegetable, along with the pain of losing his son. He fell ill from grief and eventually committed suicide. I must change all of this. I also served some food for them. Just as I was about to put my chopsticks down, I realized Bai Ningbing had been watching me for a while. Her face clearly showed jealousy, as if she were competing with my parents for my favor. She opened her mouth. "What about mine?" I glanced at her and served her a piece of meat. It was a piece of fat, the kind she hated most. The Gu Group. Xu Jiao walked into the CEO's office with some documents. "CEO Gu isn't the mister coming to deliver lunch today." Guing Han looked up at the clock. Usually, by this time he would have brought her lunch long ago. Is he afraid I'll divorce him so he doesn't even dare to bring me lunch anymore? She looked up with deep, brooding eyes, casually glancing at Xu Jiao. "What are you addicted to his cooking now? Want me to call and ask for you?" Xu Jiao hurriedly explained, No need. I was just speaking out of habit." The dishes the mister brought every time always ended up in her stomach. Eating them for so long made it a routine. This was the first time the mister didn't show up with lunch. She was genuinely curious and couldn't help but ask. Seeing the CEO was unhappy, she quickly grabbed the signed documents and headed out. Rarely did Guing Han have a free day. She finished her work early. Images of the black suit from last night flashed in her mind. The way his eyes lacked her presence while demanding a divorce. With a smirk, she headed straight to the club. As soon as she stepped into the private room, she saw everyone staring at her. She sat on the sofa and looked at them. Seeing them still staring, her face immediately darkened. "What are you all staring at me for? Are you sick?" Su Jingjiao walked over and spoke up. "Why isn't Mu Chen clinging to you anymore?" Guing Han gave them a cold glare. "Didn't you guys used to hate it when he stalked me?" Su Jingjiao observed her expression and poured her a glass of wine. "We're mostly just worried about you. We're afraid that if he's no longer obsessed with you, you won't be used to it." As Guing Han's best friends, they knew better than anyone. Before, wherever Guing Han was, I would follow. I basically would never go to a club to find female models, and there was no way I'd feel okay leaving Guing Han alone to go on a trip. It seems I really am no longer obsessed with her. Gu. Guing Han looked at their identical expressions. Seeing her face darken, Su Jingjiao tried to play peacemaker. "Come on. It's good that you don't care about him. Let's all have a drink. Congrats to Guing Han for temporarily escaping that nightmare." Guing Han raised her glass and took a drink, completely paying no mind to what they were saying. Until she was halfway through her drink when Su Jingjiao picked up her phone. Back when I only had eyes for Guing Han, I had the contact info for all the friends in her circle, so they could all see my social media feed. In the past, my feed was entirely filled with things related to Guing Han. If it wasn't flexing our relationship to claim ownership, it was some cheesy, mushy essay expressing my love for her, knowing Guing Han had blocked my feed. Every time I posted something, those guys would often send it to the group chat to mock her. But just 2 hours ago, they discovered I had wiped my feed clean of everything related to Guing Han. Then I posted "Just landed in Sanya," accompanied by beautiful photos of the sunset by the sea in Sanya, and it was even a full 9 photo spread. The status read, "Watching the most beautiful scenery with the one who loves me most. This kind of time is truly wonderful." Guing Han saw everyone glued to their phones, so she casually glanced over as well. It was a photo of me smiling radiantly by the seashore. Song Qingyuan couldn't help but speak up. "I feel like he's suddenly changed so much." Su Jingjiao teased from the side. "He actually looks pretty cute like this, doesn't he?" Su Jingjiao also clicked her tongue in agreement. "This might be what it looks like when you no longer love someone." Thud. Guing Han slammed the wine glass in her hand down onto the coffee table. She glared at them coldly, her face darkening. "Are you guys crazy? We're out for drinks, but every single one of you is glued to your phone talking about Mu Chen." Guing Han slammed the door and went out to her car, annoyedly loosening her shirt collar. She took out her phone and opened her contact list to check my profile. Only then did she realize I'd gone on a trip to Sanya. In the photos, my clear, bright eyes were overflowing with joy. It seemed like a radiant light was emanating from within. Whether it was the side profile when looking up, or when facing the camera directly, every gesture and expression exuded pure joy. His eyes seemed to hold all the beauty in the world, looking so pure and vivid, giving off a vibe of peaceful years passing by. This version of me was completely different from the person who in the past either had eyes full of love for her, or was constantly venting rage at others, always being overprotective of the Mr. Gu title, constantly suspicious, paranoid and crazily jealous, an irrationally troublesome guy like me. Someone like that couldn't suddenly change this much. Guing Han didn't believe for a second that the me in the photos was my true self. Others might not know, but she knew all too well. I was doing this just to avoid her bringing up the divorce. Posting photos on my social feed was nothing more than a ploy to please her. But even knowing my supposed motives, she was still captivated by these seemingly ordinary photos. This was the first time in my life visiting Sanya, the place I wanted to visit most while I was alive. The cool chili, breezes, seafood feast, and red wine with mom by my side, eating while enjoying the night view by the shore gave me only one feeling. This world is truly beautiful. In my past life, I never had enough money to spend, so I had absolutely no chance to experience a life like this. There was nothing good enough worth recording back then, but now I feel like there are so many wonderful things worth capturing, like the delicious food, like mom's love, and these special experiences. The next morning, I wanted to go diving, so mom paid for a private instructor for me to take me deep sea diving, enjoying the feeling of weaving through coral reefs and the beauty of being surrounded by schools of playful fish. It was so relaxing and fun. The sky and sea were deep blue, the water crystal clear. The wind was perfect. I went diving in the morning. In the afternoon, I went surfing. Needless to say, I had a blast. After showering, I lay down and picked up my phone, only to see the original host's old informant sending me hot news about Guing Han and Chen Zhe. I took a glance. They were in the same frame without even a blown kiss. I was actually getting impatient for them. I was about to message back that I didn't want to know anything else related to her anymore, when Bai Ningbing video called me. "Are you having fun?" I answered immediately, tons of fun. Bai Ningbing had also just finished showering. She was still drying her hair with a towel because she had just stepped out of the bath. There was an added depth to her gaze. Her skin looked even more clear and smooth, and her lips were a plump, rosy red, both mature and possessing a pure youthful vibe. Gentle as jade, yet retaining her feminine charm. My inner flirt almost couldn't hold it back. Bai Ningbing continued, I really want to go there too. I responded quite bluntly. You focus on working hard. I glanced toward the bathroom. Mom was still showering. Only then did I lower my voice. What I said last time wasn't a joke. The Gu family turning their backs on the Mu family is for real. You have to be prepared in advance. The company is counting on you. Bai Ningbing's hand movements paused as she looked at me. Aren't you afraid that I'm just like Guing Han, also having designs on the company? I looked at her firmly. I'm not afraid. I trust you. Bai Ningbing looked at me, her eyes heating up. I didn't expect those words would flirt with her too. I hurriedly spoke up to end the conversation. All right, it's late. I'm going to sleep. You should get some sleep too. Bai Ningbing softly replied, remember to buy me a gift. I lay on the bed, thinking about the deep feelings she had for the original host. All these years, I made up my mind to fulfill this small request of hers. The next morning, Guing Han woke up and opened her phone. The hot news was still there, but I hadn't contacted her, Chen. She hadn't been contacted by anyone either. She couldn't help but click on my social feed once more. She saw I had just updated my status 15 minutes ago. I posted a video driving a rented electric scooter at the resort, taking mom for a ride around. In the video, I wore a breezy beach shirt, smiling radiantly under the deep blue morning sky. A light breeze ruffled my hair and the hem of my shirt. Occasionally, I said something to the camera, looking exactly like an ambassador of joy. He made the scenery along the way fade into the background. I still hadn't returned. I was still continuing my trip. I had time to post on my feed, so there was no way I missed the hot news. Yet, I didn't come back and seemed even happier than before. Guing Han laughed out of pure frustration and tossed her phone aside. This time, I really did have some backbone. She wanted to see just how much longer I could hold out. Her daily schedule was packed tight. Returning to the hotel in the evening, she was exhausted, leaning back on the sofa while staring at the warm lights. Images of me riding the electric scooter flashed in her head, frames filled with absolute happiness. She took out her phone to check my feed again. She saw that a few hours ago I had updated another status. The caption read, in this world, only mom is the best. In the 9-photo spread. If it wasn't a shot of me eating local specialties, it was a photo of me, showing off the little trinkets I just bought. In the center was a photo of me and mom together. The two of us had bought matching sunglasses. The moment she heard me mention divorce, mom feared I'd stay home brooding over the past and get sad. She immediately took me on a trip to cheer me up. Throughout the whole journey, she stayed by my side, taking photos for me, praising how handsome I looked. Whenever she saw something tasty or pretty, she bought it for me. She wanted me to taste every delicacy in the world, wanting to give me all the best things. A mother like that is truly the best mother in the world. I just wanted to flex a little bit, but I didn't expect it to make people so jealous. In the comments section, Dad left a salty message, am I not good too? I replied immediately, Dad is good too. But mom was the one who bought me all this stuff. Bai Ningbing also joined in the fun. She asked, am I not good too? I smiled and typed, you're a great sister. You're the best in the world. Guing Han loosened her collar. That suffocating feeling was still there. It's been 3 days. For 3 days, I haven't sought her out. Haven't contacted her at all yet. I'm getting happier by the day. Seeing me this happy, Guing Han felt uneasy in her heart, uncomfortable as if she'd swallowed a dead fly. Right then, her phone rang. I sent her a text message. The frustration in her heart suddenly vanished. This man finally couldn't hold back anymore. For the first time, she felt a hint of anticipation. As she tapped open our chat, I asked her directly, how many days has it been since the divorce agreement was signed? Isn't it time to finalize the paperwork? Guing Han stared at those words, her eyes flickering slightly. Her hand gripped the phone tightly. After a long while, she stood up and drove home. The place that used to have the lights on whenever she returned was now pitch black. Only the lonely street lights outside cast a faint glow. She flipped on the living room lights and walked in. The house felt unusually empty. The figure that always waited for her return was gone. On the coffee table next to the divorce agreement was her card. She picked up the agreement and opened it. The two characters Mu Chen signed by hand were particularly eye-catching. The paper in her hand was crushed until it wrinkled. In her eyes, emotions were surging. The man who was just jealous over her a few days ago now actually wants to divorce me. How is that possible? Guing Han let out a cold laugh of disbelief. At the Mu residence, mom took local specialties out of a large bag to distribute to the household staff. Chen said all of these are delicious, so we brought some back for everyone to taste. Everyone happily thanked her as they received the treats. The joy of sharing spread throughout the house. Dad was drinking tea after the meal, Bai Ningbing was taking a work call. The house was big, but it didn't feel lonely at all. It was so warm and beautiful. I held my phone and saw that Guing Han still hadn't replied, so I planned to call her in a bit. Bai Ningbing sat down next to me. Where's my gift? I looked up and caught her gentle gaze, which held a hint of anticipation. With a woman who has such a radiant aura, it's really hard not to show favoritism. I stood up and opened my luggage, taking out two small night lights. One was shaped like an ancient castle. I had picked out the materials and made it myself at a handicraft stall. I held them out for her to choose. Which one do you want? Bai Ningbing looked at both. Who is the other one for? I didn't expose her petty thoughts. It's for myself. Bai Ningbing smiled and took the castle nightlight, admiring it. Mom, having finished distributing the gifts, saw the light in her hand and casually remarked, Mu Chen made that with his own hands. Bai Ningbing heard this and snapped her head up to look at me, the sudden joy in her eyes almost impossible to hide. You made it yourself. The original host only ever made things for Guing Han. She had secretly loved him for years. This was the first time she received a handmade gift from him. That level of happiness was understandable. I kept a straight face and glanced at her. What, you don't like it? If you don't give it back, Bai Ningbing looked at me with tender eyes. I like it. I don't know if it was because I knew her secret crush, but when she looked at me like that, I felt like there was a deep, patient affection that made it almost impossible for me to resist her beauty. I grabbed my phone and stood up. I'm tired. I'm going to my room to rest now. Back in my room, I opened my phone and saw Guing Han had replied to my message. 9 a.m. tomorrow at the Civil Affairs Bureau. In the book, Guing Han caused the Mu family's bankruptcy, forcing me to divorce and leave with nothing. Now that we're divorcing earlier, could this be a sign that the Mu family's bankruptcy can also be avoided? I was in a fantastic mood, afraid of oversleeping. I even set an alarm after showering. The next morning, I woke up before it even went off, thinking about how I was about to get my freedom back. I even got a bit dressed up before heading downstairs. Dad had already finished breakfast and left for the office. Mom was busy, trimming some flowers she just picked from the back garden. Seeing me, she immediately called me over for breakfast. I was in a rush, so I made up a quick excuse and hurriedly left, planning to surprise them after the divorce was finalized. The original host knew how to drive and had a license, but I personally didn't. I only knew how to ride an electric scooter. I had never even taken a driving lesson. The car I called arrived at the Civil Affairs Bureau. At 8:50 a.m., I took out my phone to call Guing Han. I'm at the bureau. When are you getting here? Guing Han messaged back that she was on her way. I stood under the shade of a tree and waited until 9:30 a.m. before I finally saw Guing Han's car pull up. I couldn't wait any longer and eagerly stepped forward. Guing Han looked at me through the car window. With a stylish vibe, my white shirt slightly revealed a toned chest. The radiant smile on my handsome face and short hair fluttered elegantly in the wind. An outstanding aura mixed with a youthful touch. Looking exactly like a charming heartbreaker, I walked toward her under the sunlight, looking as if I were glowing, making everything around me fade into the background. I stopped by the car and tapped on the glass. Guing Han narrowed her eyes slightly before opening the door to get out. Our eyes met. There was no sign of her in my eyes, nor was there even a hint of sadness, only a joyful smile mixed with a bit of detachment. Things weren't going as she expected. I just gave her a casual glance. Let's go. After speaking, I turned and headed straight for the bureau's entrance, my light footsteps revealing my impatience. I couldn't wait another second. Only at this moment did Guing Han fully believe that I truly wanted a divorce. She watched. My back and images of our forced marriage years ago flashed in her mind. Even though 2 years had passed, everything was still vivid as if it happened yesterday. Being forced marry me was a total humiliation for her. From the moment we wed, she had always thought about the day she'd wash away this disgrace, yet before that day even came, I was the one wanting the divorce. I walked a few steps and saw she was still standing there, frozen in place. I got suspicious and turned back. What's wrong? Seeing her just staring at me intently without opening her mouth, I suddenly had a bad feeling in my heart. Don't tell me you didn't bring the papers. Getting a divorce and you didn't bring the documents. I suppressed my anger and continued to press her. Then hurry up and call someone to bring them here. Guing Han still glared at me coldly without saying a word. I was speechless. I glared back at her. Make the call. Why are you staring at me? Guing Han finally withdrew her gaze. Her eyes indifferent, she lifted her wrist to check the time and finally deigned to open her mouth. It's 10 o'clock. I have a meeting. The divorce can wait until later. I hurriedly spoke up to stop her. We're already here. Why make another trip? Just push the meeting back a bit. After we finish the paperwork, you can go back to your meeting. It won't be too late. It was hard enough getting here. Next time might be a hassle. I didn't want to wait. I said that because in the book, She frequently rescheduled meetings for Chenze. It was clear that those meetings weren't even that important. But to my surprise, the moment I finished speaking, Guing Han looked at me and her expression shifted. It was as if I had just committed some sort of unforgivable sin. With a face so cold it could freeze anyone, she said, Mu Chen, do you really feel that your business is always the most important? Are the lives of tens of thousands of employees not as important as your divorce? You think way too highly of yourself. I was stunned for 2 seconds after being lectured like that. What a total double standard. If Chenze told her to reschedule, it'd be fine. But if I tell her to move one, meeting it suddenly affects the lives of tens of thousands of employees. Besides, is this divorce just my business? Isn't it her business too? Guing Han didn't give me any time to react. After scolding me, she just left. We agreed on a divorce, but she forgot the papers and showed up late. It was clearly something worth getting mad about. Yet she was the one with the long face, slamming the car door and driving off. I was so pissed I wanted to curse. I even had the caption for my celebrating single life social post ready. I'd already planned where to party tonight, but in the end, the divorce still isn't finalized. I went to the supermarket to buy a bunch of snacks, then headed straight to the Gu Group headquarters. When Guing Han finished her meeting and returned, she saw me sitting on the sofa in her office, playing games on my phone, while munching on a spicy stick. The whole office smelled like spicy snacks. On the coffee table was a mountain of junk food. Chips, chicken feet, spicy sticks. All things I would have never touched before. Guing Han frowned in disgust. Why are you here? I kept eating my spicy stick while keeping my eyes glued to my phone, not even bothering to look up, waiting for you. Guing Han paused for a moment and glanced at me. She walked over to her desk, sat down and stared at me. Waiting for me for what? Hey, eating trashy snacks and playing games. There wasn't a single trace left of the rich young master image. This version of me was far too unfamiliar. Only then did I stop what I was doing and look up at her. Didn't we fail to finish the divorce paperwork this morning? I know you're busy, so I'll wait here until you're done, then we'll go. Guing Han gave me a cold look, tilting her head slightly to the side. I'm not free at all today. I stared at her again and again, feeling a bit suspicious. Then when will you be free? Guing Han picked up a document folder next to her. When I'm free, I'll contact you myself. I felt like she was trying to back out of her word. A big shot CEO worth trillions. If she actually wanted a divorce, how could she not find the time? But why would she regret it? She loathed the original host so much. Divorce should have been a total liberation for her, right? Why is it because she hasn't tortured me enough, although the female lead didn't say it in the book? Her attitude toward the original host was clearly driven by revenge for forcing the marriage. The more I wanted her love, the more she made me taste the pain of unrequited love. Now that I want a divorce, is she trying to make me experience the pain of wanting to divorce? But being unable to, I stood up in a rage and questioned. Guing Han, are you refusing to divorce? I'm giving you 3 days. If you don't finalize the divorce paperwork with me within 3 days, I'll file a lawsuit. I wasn't negotiating with her. I was notifying her. After speaking, I grabbed my bag of snacks to leave. Just then, Chenze pushed open the office door and walked in. Seeing me, a look of fear immediately flashed in his eyes, and he tried to back out quickly, saying, "Oh, did I come at a bad time?" I immediately called him back. "No, you came at the perfect time." The novel's male lead looked pure and obedient with a frail appearance, the kind that makes people feel an uncontrollable urge to protect him. His character setting included a tragic family, background: a father who was a degenerate gambler, and a mother in frail health. In high school, when he couldn't pay off loan sharks, and they were about to sell him off, Guing Han saved him. From then on, she shielded him from the wind and rain. When he wanted to enter the entertainment industry, Guing Han signed him to her company, helping him become a top-tier superstar who was currently insanely hot. As the male lead of the book, he was kind, hardworking, and had solid morals. He had liked Guing Han from the moment she saved him, but he always felt unworthy of her and didn't dare to confess. He wanted to work hard to become elite enough to deserve her. After Guing Han was forced into marriage, even though he secretly loved her, he stuck to his principles of not being a homewrecker. He always kept his distance as a friend, but the novel was mostly written from the perspectives of the male lead and the original host. The female lead's love for the male lead was portrayed through various events. The part I read hadn't reached the confession yet, so this patient, unrequited love from both the ML and FL earned them endless sympathy and anticipation from the readers. As for the original host, the name of this villainous, supporting male was cursed daily by people wanting him gone. I calmly explained to him I just finished discussing the divorce with her. She doesn't have time to finalize the paperwork today, so I'm heading out. I glanced at the Guing Han, and then at Chenze, leaving at top speed. The smile on my face was incredibly sincere. You two take your time chatting. I won't disturb you anymore. When I walked past Chenze, I clearly felt him flinch away a bit. It's no wonder. Chenze is afraid of me. The original host always saw him as a homewrecker, teaching him a lesson every time they met. He even tried to hire people to humiliate him several times. He was the textbook villainous, supporting male, to clear my own name. I stepped out of the office as Chu Tao closed the door. Chen. Zi's eyes widened in confusion as he watched me leave. He looked toward Guing Han, seeing her face darken as she stared at the closed door. By the time he walked over with the bag of specialties, he saw the fountain pen in Guing Han's hand, had left a large ink blot on the document. Guing Han withdrew her gaze, looking up at him. Why are you here? Chenze smiled and placed the bag on the desk. Specialties from Jiang City. They were delicious, so I brought some for you. Thanks for helping find a doctor for my mother. Su Jingzhao looked at me with a complex expression. Are you really going to divorce? Sister Gu carrying my bag of snacks. I ran into someone holding documents. It was Su Jingzhao looking for Guing Han's signature. I reached out my hand to stop her because the CEO is busy with something important right now. If you have documents, wait for Chen Zi to come out first. Jingzhao looked at the office door, then back at me looking completely dazed. Chenze was inside and I wasn't throwing a fit. Instead, I was calmly standing here, even stopping others from bothering them. I opened my snack bag. So, Jingzhao saw the bag of snacks offered to her. Being a total foodie, she couldn't resist the temptation and took a pack of pickled chicken feet. Thanks, sir. I continued to give her advice. In the future, she should be more observant. When she sees Chenze visiting, she shouldn't go in and interrupt. Leaving her with that, I walked away. Playing matchmaker for them is basically doing myself a favor. It's best if they move quickly and can't suppress their desire to be together, so Guing Han will finalize the divorce papers with me sooner. After all, filing for divorce still requires evidence that the marriage has broken down. It seems like quite a hassle. Jiao ate the pickled chicken feet while waiting for Chenze to exit, then took the documents inside. She couldn't help but gossip. Boss, do you know what Mr. Mu just told me? Guing Han looked up and glared at her. Jingzhao continued. He said I should wait for Chenze to leave before entering. He even said whenever Chenze comes to see you, I shouldn't go in and disturb you. Guing Han tossed a folder toward her, her face full of rage. Does he pay your salary? Or do I? Jingzhao caught the folder and kept talking. Boss, don't you see that? He has changed. He doesn't seem jealous over you anymore. It's like he's actually shipping you and Chen Zi together. Guing Han gave her a cold look, a dangerous smile playing on her lips. Are you just too free lately? Jingzhao immediately shut her mouth, grabbed the signed document and bolted out. Guing Han slammed her fountain pen onto the desk. The smile on her lips gradually turned cold, and her gaze slowly became sharp, fainting and leaving the scene. I left the company and saw it was almost noon, so I grabbed a taxi home to have lunch with mom. I found a nearby driving school online and called to check it out in the garage. There were so many luxury cars, but I could only look at them without being able to drive. It was seriously painful. The original host already had a license, so I just needed to learn how to actually drive. The driving school had its own private track. Nothing could be more perfect. After making the appointment, I called a car to the school. Following the motto, money can buy anything, the owner found me a beautiful female instructor with a great personality for one-on-one private lessons. I have to admit, you get what you pay for. The service was worth every penny. Even I felt like I was being unbearably stupid, but throughout the entire afternoon, the beautiful teacher didn't show any annoyance. She kept encouraging and comforting me. Her EQ was definitely a perfect 10. I spent the whole afternoon there, and finally barely finished the lesson. To show my gratitude to the instructor, I invited her to dinner right as Guing Han was getting off work. Su Jingzhao sent a message. Guing Han, we were wrong last time. We didn't consider your feelings. Tonight, the girls and I are hosting a dinner to sincerely apologize. She paused for a bit, then stood up to grab her coat. 20 minutes later, she walked into the restaurant and immediately saw a familiar voice laughing brightly. As she walked closer, she heard me showering a girl with compliments. I told you, someone with your looks and such a great figure. A young lady who clearly has a bright future. How can you settle for being an instructor at a driving school? I had just found out she wasn't an instructor, but the owner's daughter, because they were short-staffed. Her mom forced her to teach me. I couldn't help but burst out laughing. While laughing happily, I suddenly felt a gaze, chilling to the bone. Instinctively, I looked up and saw Guing Han standing nearby. Her face completely darkened before I could open my mouth. Guing Han grabbed me and pulled me up, dragging me straight out of the restaurant. She pinned me against the front of the car and barked, Mu Chen, we aren't even divorced yet, and you already dare to go out meeting random girls. Who gave you the nerve? I looked at the woman right in front of my face. What a waste of such a beautiful face. What's with this temper? I massaged my wrist. What do you mean, random girl? I was just having a normal meal with someone. Don't talk nonsense. Guing Han was in a fury as she looked at me. A normal meal. Do you take me for a blind person? I didn't even bother to look at her, staring up at the sky instead. If you think you're blind, there's nothing I can do, Gu. Guing Han glared coldly and scoffed in anger. She reached out and gripped my chin tightly, forcing me to look directly at her with the threatening aura of someone in power. Chen, do you think this is still 2 years ago? That I have to endure whatever you do? From now on, everything between us is for me to decide, looking at her imposing manner. I smiled and moved closer to her. I reached out to touch her waist, both bold and reckless. Then why don't you tell me what you wanted? Guing Han's breath hitched. With an ugly expression, she gripped my wrist. I knew well that Guing Han hated the original host's touch more than anything. Every time I touched her, Guing Han's disgust for me would increase by another notch. Seeing her face turn dark, I raised my leg and rubbed it against her, continuing to make her feel nauseous. Or should we find a hotel? Somewhere. Summer clothes were already thin, and I was wearing shorts. My bare leg rubbed against her as if rubbing against her very heart, evoking an itchy sensation like ants crawling in her soul. That sensation, like a muscle memory, suppressed her feeling of nausea by a few degrees. I never used to be this bold, nor did I know how to be this seductive. My eyes clearly held no affection for her, yet I kept pretending to lust after her body, treating her like some club model. Guing Han swallowed hard, her expression darkening by another notch. Seeing that she hadn't pushed me away in disgust yet, I leaned in as if to kiss her. Only then did Guing Han shove me away, pulling out a handkerchief to wipe her hands. Chen, drop your delusions with me. You will never get what you want, but of course she refused to divorce just because I wanted it. I rubbed my wrist intentionally, acting as if I wasn't in any pain. Is it possible that what I can't get from you, I can get from another woman? Even if I do crave your body, my gaze drifted casually over her form in a bold and suggestive manner. Fearing I wasn't clear enough, I continued to provoke her. But once the lights are out, every woman is pretty much the same. It's not like I can't live without you. Guing Han's face was as black as if it had just been dipped in an ink jar. She gritted her teeth, threw the handkerchief away, and laughed in pure rage. Just you try. I shot back. Wasn't I trying just now? But you had to go and ruin it. If you're done, I'm heading back inside to finish up. My phone was still inside the restaurant. I smoothed my hair back. Seeing Guing Han wasn't stopping me anymore, I walked in. But as soon as I sat down, my phone rang. I picked it up to check. Guing Han had sent me a video clip. I clicked to watch and my face instantly turned pale. In the video, there was evidence of the original host kidnapping Chen Ze, as well as scenes of him getting into brawls, evidence of him pushing someone into the street, causing a car accident. There were even video proofs of me hiring people to bully Chen Ze. If that pile of evidence reached the police station, it would be enough to lock me up for several years. Previously, Guing Han didn't release it out of respect for the Mu family. Now that she's bringing it out, it seems she's no longer afraid of the moose. I've only been enjoying the good life for a few days. I didn't isekai here just to end up in prison. My mind was in a total mess. A message from Guing Han popped up. I'll give you 2 minutes. Get up here and behave. Guing Han wanted to use this to blackmail me. I wasn't happy about it at all. But I definitely didn't want to go to jail. Wang Xiaoyu saw my face turn pale, so she poured me some water and asked what was wrong. I replied, something came up, I have to go. Enjoy your meal. I quickly paid the bill and went upstairs to find Guing Han's private room. In the room, Su Jingjiao had just accidentally seen Guing Han and me by the car. She had snapped a photo to share with the girls in the room. From her angle, it looked like Guing Han was possessively pinning me down while getting intimate. Afterward, everyone went to the window to watch, seeing me leave decisively without looking back. They were even more convinced Guing Han was being forceful and coercive. It was obvious that the guy didn't love her at all. When Guing Han arrived, Su Jingjiao immediately went to greet her and pour wine. Everyone made sure not to mention me. When I pushed the door open, all three of them froze in shock. Su Jingjiao was quick-witted. She hurriedly stood up to give up her seat. Guing Han placed a new set of wrapped chopsticks in the spot next to her. I smiled and waved to them. Hey everyone. I glanced at Guing Han and walked toward her. The three of them looked at me, then at Guing Han. As usual, they acted like they didn't see anything and started whispering. I gritted my teeth and poked through the plastic wrap on the bowl. Scooting a bit closer to Guing Han, lowering my voice, I asked, what's the meaning of this? Guing Han gave a cold smirk. I just want you to be a little more obedient. My fist tightened. This crazy woman, besides tormenting me, does she have no other hobbies? I forced a smile and used my chopsticks to get her food. Dear wife, if you tell me to go east, I definitely won't go west. If you tell me to warm the bed, I certainly won't refuse. Guing Han glanced at me and set down her empty glass. I immediately refilled it for her. I'd been practicing driving all afternoon and I was starving. Seeing she didn't have any more demands, I started digging in myself. After finishing one bowl of rice, I realized everyone was staring at me. I scooped another bowl and smiled back at them. Do you guys want some? I can get it for you. They were even more shocked. Someone who previously only had eyes for Guing Han, serving only her, actually offered to get them rice. The next second, the person who usually loathed my service Guing Han spoke up. Since you love helping others so much, peel this entire plate of shrimp for me. I want to eat. My fist clenched again in anger. This crazy woman. I don't even bother peeling them. When I want to eat them myself, I smiled and sat down to face her, though the smile didn't reach my eyes. Sure, wifey. I pulled the plate over, peeling while plotting how to break this deadlock. I didn't want to be blackmailed by her forever. I was so deep in thought that after peeling a shrimp, I instinctively popped it into my own mouth. The three of them looked back and forth between me and Guing Han, their eyes sparkling with pure gossip. Guing Han watched me, seeing that I'd already swallowed the shrimp, and even looked like I enjoyed it. Her gaze darkened. I felt a bone-chilling stare that could freeze anyone solid, and I suddenly snapped out of it. I quickly took the shrimp that I was about to put in my mouth again and stuffed it straight into hers. I taste tested it for you. It's safe. Guing Han, caught off guard by the food shoved into her mouth, instinctively started chewing. The coldness in her eyes softened quite a bit. In the past, even if I just plated food for her, she'd say I was gross. Yet now, watching me feed her directly, Guing Han not only ate it, but actually seemed to enjoy it. Everyone started cheering and teasing. Su Jingjiao raised her glass. Sheesh, you two, when you're flexing your love, could you at least consider the feelings of the singles club? Su Jingjiao chimed in. Exactly. Is everyone misunderstanding this PDA? Best, I was actually choking on my own anger. So this teasing was definitely not hitting right, but I had to play along and try my best to coax her. Su Jingjiao swirled her wine glass, saying a bit annoyedly, if she's that hard to please, maybe you should consider finding someone else. I stuffed another peeled shrimp into Guing Han's mouth, staring at her with sparkling eyes. My expression looked as if she were the only one in my world. It's fine. She's hard to please because she's gorgeous. I just happen to love how beautiful, cold, and perfectly fit she is. Guing Han looked at my lying face, radiant on the outside, but secretly gritting my teeth on the inside. A flicker of amusement appeared in her cold eyes. I couldn't help but curse her as a psycho in my head. After dinner, walking out of the restaurant, I was still planning to go back to my place. Guing Han tossed the car keys to me. You drive. Guing Han had been drinking, so she couldn't drive. Since the original host knew how to drive, I had no way to refuse. Watching Guing Han sit in the back seat, I sucked it up and acted as her chauffeur. Luckily, I had learned how to drive this afternoon, but a newbie on the road is bound to be nervous. Especially driving at night, I was laser-focused and driving very slowly. Guing Han leaned against the backrest, watching me drive a luxury car at the speed of a tractor. She had no idea what kind of game I was playing. Ridiculous. Can you go any slower than this? My hands on the steering wheel were dripping with sweat. My entire mind was focused on driving. I couldn't handle even a single distraction. Don't talk to me. Guing Han's face immediately darkened. Mu Chen, have you forgotten your place? The next second, the car shot forward like an arrow. I saw the car going faster and faster, and my brain went totally blank for a moment. Guing Han saw this sudden, reckless burst of speed. There was a car ahead, but I didn't slow down at all. It looked like I was trying to drag her to hell with me. Her face went completely pale. Mu Chen, are you insane? Hit the brakes now. I am hitting the brakes. I realized I had mistaken the pedals. I'd hit the gas instead of the brake and scrambled to correct it. But it was a second too late. In that soul-crushing moment, I only heard a loud crash. The world suddenly went quiet. I slowly regained consciousness. My neck and head still throbbed. I heard Guing Han nearly grinding her teeth as she hissed my name. Mu Chen. I turned my head to look at her. I was driving perfectly fine, but you just had to keep talking to me. Guing Han's face was grim. She glared at me, gritting her teeth, as she forced out a few words. So it's my fault. I boldly cut in. My fault. It's my fault for being useless. The moment I hear your voice, I panic. So hard, I can't tell the brake from the gas. My mouth said I was blaming myself, but my face showed zero remorse. After speaking, I didn't even bother with her anymore. I just opened the door and got out. Guing Han was so angry, she actually laughed. She coldly pulled out her phone and called Jingjiao to come handle the mess. Ending the call, she saw me rubbing my neck while leaning over. Talking to the driver of the car, I just rear-ended. My attitude was clearly apologetic and sincere. This version of me was a world apart from the Mu Chen in Guing Han's memory. In her memory, I never apologized to anyone besides her. I was naturally arrogant and arbitrary. Even when I was wrong, I maintained a high and mighty attitude, always believing others got what they deserved. In a car accident like this, I wouldn't even bother getting out, only calling someone to handle it. Absolutely zero concern for the lives of others. I asked anxiously, "Are you all right?" The woman rubbed her neck as she stepped out. The bruise on her forehead made her fair and perfect face seem tainted by a flaw. I saw her face clearly and felt my guilt was just too massive. I felt even more apologetic. The female lead in Chen Zi's recently premiered youth tragedy film, the rising starlet Liu Ruyan. The book mentioned her when she collaborated on a film with Chen Zi, describing her as a former child star turned top idol. Chen Zi's very first movie was able to feature a collaboration with her. Fans celebrated wildly, and later the on-screen chemistry between her and Chen Zi took the internet by storm. But also in this very year, before the original host passed away, she also died, leaving behind a very long suicide note before taking her own life. A sunny girl who always smiled in front of everyone, but behind her was a pair of blood-sucking parents. They broke the wings of her dreams, causing her to lose herself, treating her as a mere money-making tool, never caring about her feelings. During her prolonged depression, her parents forced her to entertain powerful moguls in the industry, which became the final straw that broke the camel's back. In the end, she chose suicide. When I read that book, I felt she was a reflection of my own self. I empathized so much that I shed many tears. Liu Ruyan glanced at her beloved car and then shifted her gaze toward me, her eyes showing a hint of a smile. Hey, mister, am I that legendary type of person who gets hit by disaster even while sitting still? Trouble literally fell from the sky, huh? Right at the intersection, where the traffic lights were, she was stopping to wait for the light when she got hit. I regained my composure and looked at her face. The pity in my eyes not yet faded. I am truly sorry. I'll take full responsibility for the car repairs, your medical checkup fees, and I'll compensate you for the mental distress as well. Other people would usually scream in shock the moment they saw her because of that beauty. This was the first time Liu Ruyan had seen someone look at her with those kinds of eyes, as if they had seen right through the unhappiness hidden beneath her glamorous exterior. While she was still dazed, I pulled out my phone. Leave your contact info. That way, it'll be easier to get in touch. Regarding the compensation later, Liu Ruyan didn't actually care about the car, nor did she really want to demand compensation. But that look in my eyes just now made her unable to stop herself from taking my phone and adding her own contact info. She placed a test call and then handed the phone back to me. Don't you recognize me? I put the phone away, a slight smile playing on my lips. The superstar Liu Ruyan. How could I not recognize you? I'm a loyal fan of yours. Could you give me an autograph too? Liu Ruyan looked at me doubtfully. When I saw her, there was clearly none of the typical excitement of meeting an idol. Seeing her standing still, I stepped forward to give her a hug. Since you don't want to sign, then give me a hug instead. Liu Ruyan froze on the spot. Unlike the overexcited hugs from other fans, I held her quietly, almost like a confession, yet also like an embrace of comfort. You're truly wonderful. Your excellence has given courage to so many people facing adversity, giving them the motivation to move forward. I hope that one day, we can also help you become brave and become the strength that supports you to keep going. Guing Han, still in the car, saw me go from handling the accident into a chance to flirt with a woman. Her face darkened as she got out of the car and pulled me away from that woman's embrace. Right then, Chen Zi came rushing over. He grabbed the car keys and dragged me away immediately. Liu Ruyan stood there watching me, the words I just said still echoing in her head. I gave her a smile and waved. That smile was like peach blossoms in March, like a cool breeze in June, like everything beautiful in the world under the warm lights. That moment was frozen like a painting. Guing Han pinned me against the front of the car, her expression cold as ice. You dare cheat on me right in front of my face? Your balls are getting bigger by the day. I proactively leaned closer to her, my fingers tracing the lines of her waist through the thin fabric of her clothes. My life is in your hands. Since you won't let me touch anyone else, I wouldn't dare even if I wanted to. Right now, my only goal is to please you. How about I warm the bed for my wife tonight? As I spoke, I prepared to press against her again. Sure enough, the next second, Guing Han felt an intense wave of nausea. Guing Han's face fell as she opened the car door and roughly shoved me inside. A woman who basically can't even touch me. What could she possibly use to threaten me? I suddenly felt much more at ease. On the way, I received a call from Wen Yudong. It's this late, why aren't you home yet? I didn't want them to worry. But since I couldn't divorce and was being blackmailed by Guing Han, I definitely couldn't stay home forever. I had to lie. I'm not coming home tonight. Guing Han apologized to me, so I decided to give her another chance. Guing Han glanced at me through the rearview mirror in mockery. Wen Yudong had long expected this outcome. She wasn't surprised, just a little disappointed. Then bring her home for dinner tomorrow, okay? I glanced at Guing Han driving and temporarily agreed. Yes, ma'am. Wen Yudong advised, tell me if anything happens. Get some rest. I nodded, yes. You and Dad get some sleep too. Don't stay up late and don't worry too much about me. After ending the call, Guing Han's annoying voice rang out. I apologize to you? Apologize for what exactly? I gave a casual explanation. It's just an excuse to deal with my parents. How could you ever be wrong? It's obviously all my fault. I realized that this display of being annoyed yet still forced to coax her gave her a twisted pleasure in tormenting me. If I played along and satisfied her ego, my days would be a lot easier to handle. But Guing Han just had to push it. Before you loved writing those cringe love essays on your social feed. Since you've realized your mistake, write one tonight. No less than 300 words. In the past, the original host wrote them every day, and she just blocked him and refused to look. Now that I'm no longer in love and have deleted all those cringe essays, she's forcing me to write one. Classic overbearing CEO trope. If they aren't a psycho, they can't be the lead. In a CEO story, I smiled and agreed, saying I'd write it immediately at home. The moment I got back, I rushed into my room and messaged Bai Ningbing, Sister Ningbing, what's the probability of us taking down Gu Corp? Or how much cash do we need to acquire them? In just 2 short years, Guing Han had propelled the Gu Group to started making it the top local enterprise. There were definitely some shady dealings involved, but she's the protagonist with that main character armor protecting her. The book never mentioned any dirt on her. If I don't want to be blackmailed by her, I have to be a level above her and suppress her. I don't believe an isekai guy like me can't win against her. Forget her making the Mew family collapse. I'm the one who wants to crush Gu Corp. I might not be an expert in everything, but I can help the Mew family seize every money-making opportunity ahead of its time. Bai Ningbing video called me, her face glowing with a smile. Do you hate her that much? The next second, looking closer and seeing I wasn't home, she got jealous again. You went back to the Gu house, you didn't. I told her the whole story about Guing Han using that video to blackmail me. Bai Ningbing's expression immediately sank. What video? Send it to me. I sent her the clip and said nonchalantly, I guess no one else knows about this stuff, right? Bai Ningbing was silent for a long time. It seems they really didn't know. Guing Han, for the sake of the company's growth, had secretly cleaned up my mess. Now it had become her trump card to control me. That's why I absolutely have to crush her, to seize a card, to blackmail her right back. I looked at the woman on the screen. I recalled that the companies under the Mu family have their own film and TV production chains. Have someone send me a list of the artists directly under us. Bai Ningbing asked curiously, what do you need that for? I explained seriously, I just thought of a project with very promising profit potential. It's hard to explain over the phone. I'll give you the details tomorrow. As someone who lived their past life as a professional writer, on the side, before I died, I was researching the short drama market. There were several short series, with budgets of just a few million that pulled in, daily top-ups breaking the 100 million mark, crushing big budget projects that cost hundreds of millions. Furthermore, the production time for short dramas is lightning fast. You can wrap several series in a single month. The only highlights are the handsome male leads and beautiful female leads. The acting is usually just average. The plots are brain dead, purely for instant gratification and can't handle deep scrutiny. But people just love them. The comment sections are always full of people mocking them, while frantically searching everywhere for the next episode. In this era of the short video explosion, short dramas are a massive goldmine in this novel world. Short videos have only just started to trend, and short dramas haven't truly risen yet. Entertainment industry works still follow the traditional style. There are absolutely no genres like reincarnation or isekai power fantasies. I'm going to take those mega viral short dramas I've seen and film them all. You see, it's all. By the time they air, others wanting to copy won't even be able to keep up. After ending the call, I finished showering and received the email files. I opened my laptop to review them one by one. The company just happened to have signed a group of rookies a while ago. I decided to schedule some time to go to the company and check them out. For now, I have to rewrite those viral hits into scripts first, to escape the blackmail as soon as possible. I got to work immediately while I was writing. Intently, Guing Han sent me a message. Is 300 words really that difficult for you? How about I increase it to 500 words for you instead? I glanced at the time. It was already very late. This crazy woman isn't sleeping, but still remembers my essay. She's definitely sick. I was only afraid of not making her disgusted enough, so I quickly posted to my feed a short essay that only she could see. I think I'm craving my wife's body more and more. Otherwise, in the dead of this quiet night, I wouldn't be imagining my wife without a stitch of clothing on while I tease her. Your cold, heartless lips. I wonder if they're as sweet as I've always thought. That body you keep covered up all day. I wonder if it's as soft as I imagine it to be. Go. Guing Han didn't expect me to be so shameless, daring to publicly write out how much I thirsted for her like this. Her face turned from blue to red, then from red back to blue. Luckily, she quickly realized something was off. Usually whenever I posted something, the group of school friends and sycophants would all jump in to like and comment. Right now is exactly when those people are scrolling their phones. But a long time had already passed without a single comment or like. She clearly forced me to write it, but I felt annoyed, so I intentionally wrote it like that. Guing Han replied that it was written very well. From now on, I have to write one every day. Seeing this message made me so mad that I didn't even sleep staying up to write scripts. I wrote 2 opening segments in one go. Over 300 episodes for each series. By then, it was past 5 a.m. I was truly too exhausted to continue. I encrypted and saved them carefully. Then collapsed onto the bed and fell fast asleep. Guing Han woke up to find no breakfast on the table and not a sound coming from downstairs. She twisted my bedroom doorknob, only to find the door was still locked from the inside. She pounded on the door loudly, drowsy and exhausted. I pulled the blanket over my head, but it was useless. The knocking kept ringing out incessantly, as if she would keep knocking forever if I didn't open the door. I was so angry I woke up completely. I scrambled up to open the door. What's so important that you have to say it now? I was wearing loose, comfortable pajamas. My hair was a mess, and I was yawning nonstop. My face was full of irritation from being woken up, radiating a lazy beauty. Guing Han's face sank as she stared at me. Where's breakfast? Did eat. Knocking on my door just to demand breakfast. Am I a breakfast vendor? I was so mad I was wide awake. I lunged forward and hugged her tightly. I had to make her feel disgusted to get my revenge. There is no breakfast. How about you just eat my flesh for breakfast instead? A faint scent hit her nose. It wasn't the heavy perfume smell from before, but more like the scent of shampoo and body wash. Guing Han was momentarily dazed, but very quickly after that, a feeling of disgust like a natural reflex made her snap out of it and push me away. She threatened with a cold face, "You wouldn't dare, would you?" I searched my teeth. "I'll go make it for you right now." Ever since I isekai'd here, I hadn't stepped foot in the kitchen. There wasn't much food in the fridge. Eventually I found some noodles and a few eggs to cook a bowl of noodles. When I finished cooking, I realized that crazy woman had already left. I figured she wasn't going to eat anymore. After eating, I planned to sleep in for a bit longer. Guing Han sent me a message. "When you're done, bring it to the office for me." Clearly this woman has a real talent for tormenting others. I gritted my teeth and went to change my clothes, grabbed my laptop and headed out. Before leaving, I saw the bank card she left on the divorce agreement earlier was still sitting on the coffee table. I picked it up and tucked it into my pocket. Then I bought a breakfast set and brought it to Gu Corp. Guing Han happened to be in a meeting. I left it on her desk and hurried away, flipping through the Rebirth manuscript. After just reading the opening, her face was full of disbelief. "This setting is so fresh." I smiled and nodded. "Right, I thought so too." I pulled up a chair and sat down, waiting until she'd read a good chunk before speaking. I planned to film these as short dramas. I explained the concept of short videos to her and discussed the future prospects with her. Right now, short videos are just starting to take off. The user base has already surpassed 100 million. The future is promising. By Ningbing. Watch me talk nonstop about the business. Her eyes, sparkling my eyes and brows full of smiles, thinking about the script she just read. For a moment, I wondered if I was an isekai traveler who had taken over the body of a god. The same guy she knew. He was a bit arrogant and impulsive like a young master who had been pampered since childhood. He was extremely picky about food, never eating random street food, and used only luxury brands, never buying trinkets from the roadside. Ever since falling for Guing Han, she was the only thing in my eyes. I didn't care, even slightly, about family business. If it wasn't a soul swap, how could I have changed so much in the blink of an eye? Seeing her staring at me in a daze, I picked up a pen from the holder and poked her forehead. I have to admit, with looks like this, even a nun would find it hard to restrain her worldly desires. "What do you think?" Bai Ningbing crossed her arms, showing no openings at all. Her gaze was deep and gentle as she looked at me. "Since it's low cost, we can try. If it's your idea, how about I let you take charge of it?" I readily agreed. "No problem. I'll send the script to you first. Give it to a director to prep. Later, I'll head to the agency to pick the leads. Help me give the agency a heads up." Bai Ningbing asked, "Do you need me to go with you?" I waved her off. "No need. Just focus on your work. I'll find you if there's an issue." After finishing the talk about the short film, I walked a few steps, thought of something, and turned around, catching Bai Ningbing staring at me. I pretended not to notice. "One more thing. I want to sign Liu Rian." Bai Ningbing was slightly stunned, looking at me with doubt in her eyes. "Why do you suddenly want to sign her?" I analyzed it seriously. "I think she's a rare talent in the industry. She's definitely going to blow up in the future, but her manager is her father, and he doesn't seem to want her signing with any agency. Have someone draft the contract, and I'll handle the talk with her father." Bai Ningbing looked at my confident posture and was dazed for a moment, just as I left the company and was about to head to the agency. I got a message from Guing Han. "If lunch is still takeout, you can just wait to hit the front page news." I was fuming, gritting my teeth. This crazy woman is truly dedicated when it comes to tormenting me. Checking the time, I went to the mall and spent over 1 million NDT of her money on gifts for the original host's parents, then went to the Mew house for a free meal. When Yudong saw me return happily, buying them gifts without using the cards they gave, she thought Guing Han came with me and kept looking toward the door. She's nowhere to be seen. Did you come back alone? I just made up a random excuse. She's busy with work, so she couldn't make it. When Yudong said she didn't mind, why buy stuff for us? Why spend money like this? We don't lack anything at all. But her hands were already gripping the bag I bought her, looking at it from the left and right, up and down. The more she looked, the more she loved it. She felt like all her old bags should retire. She just kept stroking it, unable to let go. Hearing the maid praise the bag, "Ma'am, this bag is absolutely gorgeous. It matches your outfit perfectly." When Yudong even stood up to pose with the bag. "Is that so? Chen bought it for me? Beautiful, right?" The young master really has great taste. So when I mentioned it during afternoon tea, I didn't expect her to be this happy about it. Back when I chose gifts for my real parents, with so much effort, they only knew how to criticize, then go on to praise other people's kids for what they bought their parents. They never supported me enthusiastically like this. I had only heard stories from colleagues about buying gifts for their parents, how their folks would brag and show off. I always thought rich moms had everything and wouldn't really care about these kinds of things. After finishing the meal, I asked Auntie Liu to pack the leftovers for me. When Auntie Liu heard it was for Guing Han, she was so shocked her eyes nearly popped out. "Young master, packing these leftovers for the young mistress? Isn't that a bit inappropriate? How about I cook 2 fresh dishes instead?" First, waved my hand and refused. "No need, this is fine." Auntie Liu looked at me while packing. Before, if I wanted to pack food for Guing Han, I would have set aside the best portions early on, choosing the finest parts with so much care. Now I'm just packing scraps. The young master has truly changed. Auntie Liu changed the subject. "Young master? Look at the madame. This is the first time I've seen her this happy. She's even rushing off to her afternoon tea." I wondered, is that so? Was she not happy before? Auntie Liu sighed. "You have no idea when those rich madams get together for tea and gossip. If they aren't comparing husbands, they're comparing kids. You bought her a bag today. She's not happy because of the bag itself, but because it was you who personally bought it." I glanced at Wen Yudong, who was busy doing her makeup. The original host didn't care about business and even forced a marriage, desperately demanding to marry her at any cost. In his eyes, there was only Guing Han, and he rarely ever cared about his parents. Every time the rich madams chatted together, Wen Yudong could only stay silent, enviously listening to others brag. This time with her son buying her a bag, she feels like she finally has something to hold her head high about. I recalled that in the book after the Mu family went bankrupt, those madams, who usually hung out with her, all kicked her while she was down, mocking her for raising a profligate son, who handed the entire family fortune to outsiders. I couldn't help but walk toward my mother. "Let me coordinate your outfit, Mom." I wanted to be her fashion consultant. Wen Yudong became even more delighted. I styled an incredibly sophisticated outfit for her, far surpassing the aesthetics of this novel world. By the time I reached Gu Corporation, it was almost 1 p.m. Seeing Shu Jiao, I shoved the thermal container directly into her hands. Guing Han's lunch. When Guing Han checked her watch for the 5th time, the office door was pushed open. She instinctively looked up and saw Shu Jiao, carrying the thermal container in with a beaming face. "The young master started delivering lunch to you again." Guing Han's expression turned cold. "Where is he?" Shu Jiao answered honestly. "He's gone." Shu Jiao had been eating takeout for days, so she really missed the food the young master cooked. Seeing she had no more questions, as usual, she grabbed the container and prepared to head out happily. "Well, I'll be going now." The next second, she was coldly called back by Guing Han. "Where are you going?" Shu Jiao was confused. "Don't you usually refuse to eat the young master's cooking?" Shu Jiao glanced at her, feeling the cold and dangerous atmosphere, and immediately shut her mouth, placing the container on the desk. "Please enjoy your meal. I'm going back to work." Guing Han loosened her tie a bit. She leaned back in her office chair, staring at that thermal flask, her fingers leisurely tapping the armrest a few times before picking up the phone next to her. I had just sat down in the car after finishing a call with the agency director when Guing Han called. "Buy me a cup of coffee at that shop on Manhwa Street and bring it to me personally." I gritted my teeth. "Are your assistants all dead?" Guing Han said nonchalantly. "For such a trivial matter, letting an assistant go would be a waste of talent. You're just the right fit." I sneered sarcastically. "I thank you for letting me know I still have some value." I hung up, but still headed to the agency. When Yudong was gossiping, the Mu family's young master. Doesn't he only have eyes for Guing Han? He's never cared about the family business before. Why did he suddenly come to the company to pick the male and female leads? Everyone, don't you think he's been neglected for too long? So he wants to come here to sponsor some young beauties to satisfy his needs. Everyone chimed in. I think so too. Choosing leads usually involves sending out scripts first, and then having the director arrange auditions, right? There's no way someone just shows up at the office for no reason to pick people and even calls them out by name. Look at those newly signed girls over there, Sun Jinglan countered. Your imaginations are way too wild. If he really came looking for women, why would he call us to follow him? Wen Yudong shot him a glare. Are you stupid? It's obviously a show to pull the wool over people's eyes. While the girls were gossiping loudly, the office door opened and the director led me in. Everyone immediately fell silent. The director spoke up. Everyone is here. I scanned them in order from near to far, then walked toward the girls. I reached out and felt the arm of the girl on the far left down to the bone. Even her collarbones aren't defined. Go train properly. Xiao Chengyue's face turned beet red in an instant. The girl's gossip from earlier was quite loud. He had heard every single word. I then looked at the girl next to him, squeezing her waist. A bit chubby, lose some weight. Zhang couldn't help but ask, we're acting in movies. Do we really have to worry about our figures too? I answered seriously, that depends on what role you want. If you're playing an extra, then no. But if you want to be the female lead in an idol drama, both your looks and figure must be top tier. I glanced at her once more. I didn't expect the difference between your photos and reality to be this huge. If it wasn't a problem with their looks, it was their physique not meeting the standard. Short dramas are a type of low-budget production. The pay is terrifyingly low. Stars with even a bit of fame wouldn't want to do them. Rookies have to rely on their looks. If the visuals aren't on point, the audience won't even bother watching. If even a simp like me doesn't think they're good enough, how can the audience be satisfied? The leads absolutely must be attractive. After checking everyone out, I finally officially explained my purpose for being here. Recently, I've planned to shoot a few short dramas. Not the 10-minute per episode TV series type, but the short video style. Before I could even finish the intro, Guing Han sent me a message. Are you buying coffee in another country or something? I replied that there was traffic and not to rush me. Give me another half hour. I turned back and continued speaking. The shooting cycle for one script is about 7 to 12 days. The pay depends on the role, ranging from 600 to 10,000 yuan a day. Anyone who wants to hone their acting skills can go to the director to sign up. I was being threatened by Guing Han. So after sending the message and giving a few instructions, I left in a hurry. Sun Jinglan asked, are you guys going Xia Yudong? Scoffed. Do you actually believe his nonsense? Claiming he can finish a whole series in just over a week, filming 1-minute episodes and using newbies as leads. Have you ever even heard of a show like that? Chumukin analyzed. Just look at the way he stared at everyone the moment he walked in. He's clearly targeting them. It's just a shame that no one seemed to satisfy him. Xia Yudong teased Zhang Ning just now. It seemed like he was quite satisfied with that face of yours. You better lose weight fast. Don't miss out on this great chance. I rushed to the office. The delivery guy was already waiting at the entrance. I stepped up, paid the extra tip, grabbed the coffee, and hurried upstairs. Pushing the office door open, Guing Han's cold, icy gaze immediately shifted toward me. I didn't mind, bringing the coffee over and flashing a pleasing smile at her. So sorry to keep the great CEO waiting so long. Beads of sweat still lingered on my forehead, and my breathing was a bit heavy from rushing all the way up. Guing Han glanced at the coffee on the desk. You didn't poison it, did you? The next second, I picked it up and took a sip, still smiling at her, though the smile didn't reach my eyes. Is the great CEO relieved now? Guing Han's face darkened by several shades. She looked at me, then at the coffee I just drank. I circled the desk and moved closer to her, acting flirty as if I wanted to dive into her arms. Does the great CEO have any other needs want? A hug or a kiss? Guing Han pushed her office chair back to maintain distance, looking at me coldly. I looked at how she treated me like a wild beast, but before I could even feel happy, I heard her say, I have a dinner date with a friend at home tonight. Go back and prepare dinner. I ordered takeout this morning, then packed leftovers from my parents' house precisely because I didn't want to cook for her. Yet she insists on making me do it. I gritted my teeth, suppressing my anger, maintaining a fake smile. Fine, great CEO. How many friends, Chinese or Western cuisine? Guing Han answered casually, 5 or 6 people. You decide. All right then. Great CEO. I'll head back to prepare first. The moment I turned my back, I dropped the smile. This crazy woman targeting and tormenting me all day is not okay at all. I need to find something for her to do. Force her to focus more on the male lead, so she'll dump me sooner and go to him. Guing Han watched me leave, swallowed hard and loosened her tie. She instinctively picked up the coffee and took a sip. Only after drinking did it hit her. She remembered I had just drunk from it. In an instant, her expression looked like it had been swept by a violent storm. She immediately pushed the coffee away, refusing to take another sip. But all afternoon, all afternoon. Every time she saw that cup, she thought about the fact that she and the man she hated most in the world had shared a single cup of coffee. For some reason, her heart was restless, so she finally tossed it in the trash to get it out of her sight. The flower in my heart, I want to take you home. In a late night bar, whether it's real or fake, please just go ahead. Shake it all off, forget the one you secretly love. You're the most charming one you know. In the evening, while Guing Han was still in the yard, she already heard upbeat music coming from the hall. The moment she stepped through the door, she heard my voice ringing out and the delicious aroma of food wafted from the kitchen. She took off her coat and went to the kitchen door, only to find that in the house, two more women had appeared and were cooking. One was bringing a finished dish for me to taste. I ate while praising her. Your cooking is amazing. At first, seeing how beautiful you are and your perfect figure, you didn't look like a chef at all. I thought I'd been scammed. But I didn't expect you to actually have real skills. Then what profession do I look like to you? With your looks, it'd be a waste if you weren't a model. While I was busy chatting, I suddenly felt like needles were piercing my back. Instinctively turning my head, I saw Guing Han's face was as dark as soot, looking exactly as if I owed her hundreds of billions and refused to pay. The moment I stepped toward her, Guing Han curled her lip in a cold, sarcastic sneer. I told you to cook dinner, and you bring two women back here for me? You really know how to enjoy yourself, huh? Do I need to call a few more over for you? Guing Han pulled out her phone. I immediately grabbed her hand. Enjoy myself. What are you talking about? Isn't it because my skills are too mid and I didn't dare show off? Afraid that if it tasted bad, I'd make you lose face in front of your friends. I invited these two master chefs. I'm not stupid. If I were really looking for women, would I bring them home? Right then, the doorbell rang. Guing Han gave me a warning glare and pulled her hand back. I immediately went to open the door. By the time I returned, Guing Han's phone rang. She took it out, and I caught a glimpse. It was Chen Zi calling. I couldn't help but prick up my ears to eavesdrop. Chen Zi had arrived home to find an express delivery from within the city, a bouquet of fresh flowers and a package. He opened the package to find a brand new suit inside. There was also a card that read, Brother Zay, I like you. I dream of you every day. I really want to meet you. I think you'd look incredibly sexy in this suit. Chen Zi immediately felt like this was a total creep. The feeling that he was being watched by a stalker gave him goosebumps. When he called Guing Han, his voice was trembling. Sister Qing Han, can you come over to my place for a bit? What's wrong? I think I've run into a pervert. Hearing those words, I almost couldn't hold back a laugh. I bit my lip and tried my best to keep it in. Seeing Guing Han hang up, I hurried out to help bring the food to the table. In 2 years of marriage, this was the first time Guing Han had invited people over to the house. Combined with the lovey-dovey act from last time, her best friends naturally assumed the two finally worked things out, became official. The moment they entered, they competed to give gifts. Su Jingjiao pulled out a boutique hotel voucher worth 58,888 yuan a night and shoved it into Guing Han's hand. Just a small token, don't get too emotional. Chu Jingyao carried a mysterious gift bag. The sisters have all tried these. They worked great, so I'm sharing with you. Guing Han looked at the gifts they gave. Truly, each item was more ridiculous than the last. I have something to take care of outside. Bringing the food out and hearing her say she was leaving, I immediately looked at her with an incredibly caring and understanding gaze. If you have work, go ahead. I'll take good care of everyone. As I spoke, I shoved a plate of food into Su Jingjiao's hands and very cleverly snatched the gift from her hand. Go quickly, don't be late. Guing Han looked at me, seeing I practically wanted to kick her out immediately, then looked at the room full of women. She reached out and grabbed my wrist. You're coming with me. Going out for work and still dragging him along. Is your relationship really this intense already? Her best friends watched completely shocked. You're going to work. It's not right for me to follow, is it? Besides, we still have guests at home. It makes no sense for the host not to be here for them. I tried to refuse. This was the opportunity I created to build their relationship and distract her attention, making her worry about the male lead. I spent so much time and money fabricating a crazy stalker fan. If I follow her, how are they supposed to bond? Make yourselves at home, Gu. Guing Han threw a line to her friends and dragged me away. She was so fast, I didn't even have time to put down the things in my hand. No way, I definitely can't go with her. If we both leave, what if they tear the house down? I'll stay home and host them. Y'all just go take care of your business with peace of mind. Guing Han squinted at me as if she had seen through everything. She tossed the stuff onto the back seat and started the car. I didn't even have time to bring my phone. Arriving at Chen Zi's place, I planned to mess with Guing Han's car, so she'd have to deal with it herself, while I just waited for her inside. As it turns out, Guing Han took the keys and got out. I sat in the car watching her walk straight inside without even looking back, fully entering worry mode for Chen Zi. I couldn't help but curiously follow, sneakily eavesdropping outside the door. Inside, Chen Zi was restless, seeing Guing Han arrive. He acted like he'd seen his savior and rushed to meet her. He showed her the card and told her everything that happened. Without realizing it, the first person he thinks of whenever trouble strikes is her. With her here, he isn't afraid. He feels totally safe. But since she's already married, he has to suppress his feelings for her and maintain a distance as just friends. She doesn't love me, but she fulfills her duties as a wife. So she always keeps her distance from him too. He's just waiting for her to get a divorce. When I mentioned we were getting divorced, the love buried deep in his heart took root, sprouting and growing like crazy. It can't be suppressed anymore. On. The package there was only Chenzi's delivery address. Guing Han checked the security footage and called to have people track the delivery route for the investigation. Then she put her phone away and looked at him. Until this matter is fully investigated, don't stay here for the time being. I saw them just talking so blandly like that. There wasn't even eye contact or physical contact like before. My whole body was getting restless. Where's the pitiful baby diving into her arms scene? Where's the great CEO tenderly comforting him scene? Where's the kiss? Where's the 18 plus content? Can you two stop holding back? Even a Ninja Turtle would lose. To you guys, I was bored and messing around with the potted plants in front of me. I was just stroking the leaves at first, but seeing zero progress between them. I got so frustrated that by the time I snapped out of it, the plant in my hand had been completely uprooted by me. This scene caught Chenzi's eyes just as he stepped out. He thought I had misunderstood something again and was acting out in a jealous rage. He started trembling and hurriedly tried to explain. Brother Shen, I immediately put the pot down and flashed an awkward smile, explaining even faster than he could. My bad. I got bored waiting and accidentally used too much force. I'll compensate you with a new one tomorrow. Guing Han glanced at me with a meaningful look. Chenza frantically waved his hands. No need at all, but I didn't want to be the third wheel while they bonded. So I sped up and walked way ahead of them. Chenze was still in a daze. Sister Guing Han? Did Brother Shen misunderstand and get angry? Guing Han glanced at that retreating figure. Don't mind him. I quickly walked back to the car and sat in the back, leaving the passenger seat for Chenze. Chenze felt that sitting in the front wasn't quite right. He wanted to sit in the back, but I refused. He had no choice but to sit in the front looking uneasy, intending to explain something to me, but seeing me with my eyes tightly shut, clearly not wanting to be disturbed. He gave up. I instinctively looked toward Guing Han and caught her staring at me through the rearview mirror. He asked her about the divorce, but she dodged the question and didn't answer. Just now, he thought I was sneakily stalking them. Who knew I actually came here in the same car with her? This guy is starting to fear that I'll misunderstand their relationship. Now, in an instant, his heart fell into a state of extreme panic. He felt like he had just lost something beyond his grasp. Guing Han started the car and glanced at him. Have you eaten yet? Not yet. After this brief exchange, the entire car fell into an eerily quiet silence. I peeked a few times, but didn't see any further interaction between them. I wish I could just turn invisible and shove their heads together to make them kiss already. So Jingjiao looked at us. What do you guys think? Is Guing Han totally bros before hoes or what? She had something to handle. But bringing Mushen along, what's the point? Afraid you'd eye her husband or something. Song Qingyuan frowned. I think since they've gone out, they won't be back. Maybe we should just head home. Su Jingjiao pouted. I already gave my gift. Why leave? Not only am I staying, I'm gonna eat her out of house and home. Su Jingjiao had just found the most expensive bottle of red wine in the cellar. She opened it to celebrate only to see me return. My expression wasn't great and my pace was fast. Following close behind, Guing Han walked in with Chenze making those three freeze in their tracks. I chugged a huge glass of water just to cool down. Terrified Guing Han would trace the trail. I even went through the trouble of withdrawing cash. I put in so much effort, yet the result was zero progress. I can't accept this. After finishing the water, I saw the bottle of wine they had just opened. A light bulb went off in my head. I came up with a brilliant idea: use alcohol to stir things up. The moment Chenze ran into trouble, the first person he looked for was Guing Han. And as soon as Guing Han got Chenze's call, she ditched her girl squad to rush to him immediately. If this isn't mutual love, then what is? Just because she wants to torture me, she won't divorce. I can only say, this female CEO has a serious revenge complex. For the sake of my beautiful single life, I smiled brightly and greeted everyone. Drinking already? Great, let me go grab 2 more bottles. Tonight, nobody leaves until they're wasted. The 3 of them stared blankly as I excitedly fetched wine. Su Jingjiao's eyes widened. Guing Han actually brought her husband to pick up her rival. Zhang Qingyuan shook her head. Sister Guing Han wants to enjoy the best of both worlds now. Chu Jingyao clicked her tongue twice in envy. Guing Han and Chenze walked to the table. I returned with 2 bottles of red wine and sat down at the very edge of the group, leaving 2 seats side by side and giving them up for those 2. Guing Han sat in the center position, while Chenze sat down next to her, greeting everyone a bit awkwardly. Su Jingjiao smiled. I've heard of the big star for a long time. Today, I finally have the honor of meeting you. I immediately seized the opportunity. Then you definitely have to toast him a glass. Guing Han shot a sideways glance at me. her expression unreadable. The eyes of the other women were also all fixed on me. I stared at them blankly. Did I say something wrong? You shouldn't just have one glass. Su Jingjiao picked up her wine glass and laughed. Drink up, we have to drink Big Star. I'll toast you a glass. Chenza, eating with Guing Han's friends for the first time, obviously couldn't refuse. He's a man of etiquette, so he shared a drink with her. I immediately grabbed the wine bottle, stood up with an enthusiastic smile, and poured more. Brother Chen, no, there's no need. I can do it myself. You're an honored guest, personally picked up by Guing Han. How could I let you do it yourself, yo? Guing Han swirled her wine glass, glancing at me nonchalantly, with a gaze full of hidden meaning. The others couldn't understand what exactly was going on right now. After pouring the wine, I looked over at Chu Jingyao next to Su Jingjiao. Aren't you going to toast the Big Star a glass too? Chu Jingyao curled her lip, her smile carrying a hint of mischief as she picked up the glass. I'm not the rude type. As Chu Jingyao prepared to toast Chen Zhe, Guing Han gave me a cold glare. If you want to drink, go drink by yourself. Then she looked over at Chen Zhe. You don't need to mind them. It's fine, I can handle it. Chen Zhe still raised his glass to drink with him. I'll toast the Big Star a glass too. Who would want to be the impolite one? Song Qingyuan also immediately raised her glass to toast Chen Zhe. Chen Zhe's tolerance was low. After 3 glasses, he was probably already feeling it. I returned to my seat, warmly inviting everyone to eat, then started targeting Guing Han again. I still hadn't thought of a good excuse. Guing Han looked coldly at the 3 women opposite her. You guys are only toasting, him being this biased. Isn't very polite, is it? The subtext was that she wanted them to toast her too. She was clearly venting her frustration on Chen Zhe's behalf. Chu Jingyao smiled, playing with her red wine glass. He's the guest, so us toasting him first is totally fine. You invited us to dinner, yet you didn't toast us first, but expect us to toast the host instead. Who exactly is the impolite one here? At that moment, I just wanted to give her a massive like. I glanced at Chen Zhe again. His complexion didn't look too good. Perfect. He's jealous. He wants to be the master of this house. I immediately stepped in to help filling his glass, and then filling my own. Oh, don't blame her, it's my bad for not being thoughtful enough. Wifey, let's toast everyone together. Guing Han gave me a cold, stony look. I winked at her, seeing her not moving. I pinched her thigh under the table. Seriously, only getting physical with her actually works. Guing Han's face darkened instantly. She coldly picked up her glass. Guing Han's tolerance is legendary. As long as Chen Zhe gets drunk, it's fine. Whether she gets drunk or not doesn't matter. I just need him to have a little alcohol as a catalyst. Seeing him drinking, I didn't even bother managing them anymore. I just focused on enjoying the delicious food myself. To make sure Guing Han didn't get the chance to order me around, I avoided the hairy crab and lobster entirely. Guing Han saw me eating happily, and she looked pretty annoyed. Occasionally she used that bone-chilling gaze to glare at me, but I didn't care at all. When she looked at me again, I purposefully misinterpreted her. You want some too? I immediately grabbed a piece of braised pork and stuffed it straight into her mouth. The next second, I saw this woman who's a total germaphobe when it comes to me look even more disgusted than before. In my heart, I couldn't have been happier. I glanced over at Chen Zhe. He was biting his lip and squeezing his fingers, then proceeded to down another glass of wine by himself. Perfect, the provocation hit the mark. After finishing dinner, Su Jingjiao and the others wanted to go to karaoke, but Guing Han kicked them all out. I also wanted to slip away, so I checked my phone and made up a random excuse that my mom needed me to head back for something. Let me just make a quick call. I talked on the phone as I walked out, leaving the living room to Guing Han and Chen Zhe. But before stepping out of the room, I heard Guing Han's warning, 5 minutes. If I don't see your face in 5 minutes, today will be the last good day of your life. I was so annoyed I gritted my teeth. This woman, instead of worrying about her dream man right now, why is she so focused on me? Chen Zhe, feeling lightheaded, looked at Guing Han. His face flushed bright red. Sister Qing Han, I feel so unwell. He really was feeling miserable. She brought him home for a meal, yet let others toast him like that, even though she tried to protect him, making him feel like she cared for him. The way she looked at that guy had changed. It didn't seem to be full of disgust anymore. She even ate the food he picked out for her. Seeing her like that made him feel terrible. He knew well that she was forced into that marriage, and he always thought she was just enduring it. He believed that one day she would regain her freedom, and they would be together. But now he felt that if things continued like this, he would lose her forever. He was in a total panic. Guing Han raised her wrist to check the time. She looked at him indifferently. I'll have your assistant come pick you up. After saying that, she took out her phone to call. Chen Zhe suddenly stood up and swiped her phone right out of her hand onto the floor. He couldn't stand steadily and lunged into her arms. Sister Qing Han, can I stay here? That package today really scared me. I'm afraid to sleep alone. Guing Han reached out to support him, then pushed him back to create some space. She looked at him coldly. Then let your assistant stay with you. Chenzi looked up with tearful eyes at her. I don't want my assistant here. I want you to stay. Gu Qinghan frowned slightly. Sister Qinghan. Chenzi reached out and grabbed the hem of her shirt. He stared at the face that was so incredibly attractive to him. The face he could never quite read. Had she actually fallen for Chenzi? But what about me? I've been waiting for her for so many years. I just called the manager of the talent agency. The answer I got was that out of 10 people, only 3 actually signed up. 2 girls and 1 guy. I was a bit surprised. The standards of these rookies are really high nowadays. But it's fine. I went to them first. Because they're artists under our own company. I wanted to give them a chance to train and level up. If they don't want it, I won't force them. I took the contact information of those willing to participate and turned around to check the situation inside, only to see the 2 of them in close physical contact. Guing Han was pressed against the wall, obscuring Chenza. I could only see them through the gap between their legs. They were so close, at such a close distance, with Chenze clutching her shirt, and them being face to face like that. Yes, besides kissing, what else could they be doing? After the kissing and hugging, they'll probably head to the bedroom. Alcohol really is the best wingman. The corners of my mouth couldn't help but curl up. Too bad it's so far away I can't hear a thing. The original novel has over 100,000 words, and I haven't seen the FL say a single romantic line yet. I'm actually curious to see what it's like when this woman says something lovey-dovey, just as things were getting spicy. Gu Qinghan suddenly turned her head toward me. Seen enough? If you've seen enough, get your butt over here right now. A pervert doing this kind of sneaky stuff. And you didn't even forget to wear your glasses. Since you're done kissing, why aren't you carrying him to your room? What are you calling me over for? I reluctantly walked over. Gu Qinghan looked at my phone. I gritted my teeth and forced a smile, picking up her phone to hand it back to her. The next second, Gu Qinghan pushed the wasted Chenze onto me. Tonight he sleeps with you. Hearing that felt like a lightning strike. You're letting him sleep with me. Aren't you afraid I'll make a move and kill him? Gu Qinghan unbuttoned her collar while walking upstairs. She didn't even bother looking back. If he dies, you're going down with him. I gritted my teeth. Letting him sleep with you? So all 3 of us can live peacefully, isn't that better? Gu Qinghan finally stopped her tracks and turned back to look at me. Her gaze was colder than usual. Do you think everyone is as easy as you are? I was roasted into silence. Where exactly am I easy? I have high standards for faces and bodies too, you know. I want to sleep with you. Chenza dizzily wrapped his arms around my neck, bearing his head into my chest and nuzzling me. This woman is show me all what you need. She actually held back from touching him. Talk about giving him the ultimate respect. True love really is built different. I snapped back to reality after Chen Zi's interruption. He said he wants to sleep with you. Gu Qinghan acted like she didn't hear me. Immediately after came the sound of her bedroom door slamming shut. Furious, I had no choice but to drag Chen Zi to my room. Chen Zi kept hugging me tight and wouldn't let go, mistaking me for Gu Qinghan. I love you. From the very first moment I saw you. I already liked you. I really like you. I recorded it and sent it to Gu Qinghan, planning to add some fuel to their romantic fire. In the end, it totally backfired on me. Gu Qinghan sent a message, "You're quite free, aren't you? Finished today's essay on your friend circle yet? I see you're quite good at flattering women, so writing a 5,000 word praise essay? Shouldn't be a problem, right?" I was speechless. Praise her, besides that pretty face. What else is there even worth praising? I gritted my teeth and took a template for praising a woman's beauty from a CEO novel. Copy-pasting the whole thing. I even spiced it up with a few lines. About thirsting for her body. I bet this will show her. Your face is like a masterpiece of creation. So perfect that even the heavens must be jealous. You're truly the GOAT. So beautiful that the water in the Pacific Ocean is just the drool I've spilled over you. Can you please stop stealing my soul? I want to be yours and kiss your lips. Not long after sending that little assignment, Gu Qinghan messaged me again. If you forget to prep breakfast tomorrow morning. I was so hyper I stayed up writing the script for over 2 more hours. Early morning, I woke up to my alarm, instinctively rolling over. As soon as I opened my eyes, I saw I was hugging Chen Zi. Chen Zi realized he was in my bed, his face turning beet red. His mind went blank. Why am I here? The MC is truly the MC? He looks so pure and adorable. I couldn't resist teasing him. Last night, you hugged me and wouldn't let go. You insisted on sleeping with me no matter what. Chen Zi looked completely incredulous. I really didn't expect that. After I did so many terrible things to you before, you'd still like me this much. You've successfully caught my interest. With you now. How about you become my man from now on? Chen Zi blushed while looking at me, his whole body still in a daze. I looked at him, thinking about the things the original owner did to him before, if I can get his forgiveness. Then those dangerous events later on. Can they be resolved? Sleep a bit more, I'm going to make breakfast for you. Chen Zi heard the room door close and instinctively flipped the blanket to check. Then all those embarrassing memories started flooding back to attack him bit by bit. He had confessed to Guing Han. Those words were all meant for Guing Han to hear. But in the end, I heard it all. Did I actually misunderstand, or am I just faking it? Before I liked Guing Han so much, I forced a marriage. So how could I possibly like men? But now I'm like a completely different person, without a shred of affection left for Guing Han. Yet every time I see him, I'm all smiles. I even actually went to make breakfast for him. Chenza tossed and turned on the bed endlessly. He didn't know how to face Guing Han, or me. He planned to sneak away. But as soon as he stepped out, he bumped into Guing Han. Guing Han, from head to toe, exuded a powerful feminine charm, making one feel she was worlds apart. Chenza fidgeted with his fingers, not daring to look at her. I got too drunk. If I said anything reckless while wasted, please don't take it to heart. You are an actor. You should understand better than anyone that out there, saying just one wrong word can ruin your entire career. Guing Han glanced at him, as if nothing had ever happened. Getting wasted is a major taboo for you. He had already confessed, but she didn't respond at all. Was it a rejection, or did she just count it as drunk talk? Chenza couldn't tell. He pursed his lips tightly. There won't be a next time. Guing Han glanced at the dining table downstairs. He hasn't woken up yet. He's up. He said he was making breakfast. Chenza's face heated up slightly. He hurried downstairs to get his phone, intending to say his goodbyes. I walked out from the kitchen. Seeing those two didn't look intimate at all, I was confused. Weren't they close last night? Why do they look even more distant after waking up? You two woke up just in time. Come over and have breakfast. Chenzi's eyes avoided mine. I won't be eating, sir. I have things to do. Even so, you gotta eat first. Without a word, I walked over and pulled him to the table. Chen. Z looked at my hand, gripping his arm. The flush on his face deepened. After I pressed him down into his seat, his mind was a mess. Do I actually like him now? Guing Han looked at Chenze, then at me as I went back into the kitchen. Then she sat down across from him. He didn't bully you last night, did he? Chenza hurriedly denied it. No, not at all. I walked out carrying a bowl of noodles in each hand. Curious, I asked, no what? Guing Han glanced at Chenza, then back at me. Then she stared at the bowl I placed in front of Chen Zi. Inside was a heart-shaped fried egg. Looking at my own bowl, it also had a heart shape. Looking at her bowl, there was no shape at all. Chenza saw the novel heart-shaped egg, and the redness that had just faded instantly returned. I sat down, glanced at him, then looked at Guing Han. Taste it, I made it myself. Chenza was awkward, not knowing what to do. Guing Han glared at me. Is this all there is? My face was dead serious, as I lectured her with an eloquent tone. I was afraid making too much would be a waste. Beef, eggs, and greens isn't that rich enough. You're a wealthy CEO. You should do more charity, instead of being extravagant and wasteful. I didn't want to make breakfast like the original host, but I couldn't let her get upset and torment me either. Hearing this, Chenze couldn't help but tearfully look at me, suddenly understanding the hardships of the common folk. I told him, Brother Zay, don't you think I'm right? Chenza felt goosebumps all over after being called Brother Z like that. Guing Han glared at me with a sharp gaze, as if she wanted to burn a hole through my face. Don't you feel embarrassed saying stuff like that? I didn't blush, and my heart didn't skip a beat. I just looked back at Chenze with a radiant smile. The past is the past. Now that I know I was wrong, I'll change. Isn't that great? Beside me, Chenze almost choked to death on his noodles. I immediately pulled out a tissue and poured him some water. Seeing me being so attentive to Chenze, Guing Han couldn't stand to watch anymore. She picked up her chopsticks and tasted a bit of the noodles. In my eyes, there was only Chenze. Well, is it good? Chenze was forced to answer that it was. My cooking skills are actually pretty decent. What kind of food do you like? I'll cook it for you next time. Chenza choked once again. Guing Han finally couldn't take it and looked up at me. Do you love cooking that much? How about you handle lunch for all the company employees then? I was speechless. A man is just being nice to Chenze, and she actually gets jealous. She really wants to take him for herself. I quickly finished the rest of my bowl. I won't disturb your two-person world anymore. I'll go clean up first. Yesterday, the CFO handed me the contract signed with Liu Ruyan. I went back to the kitchen and grabbed my phone, telling the company to set an appointment with her mom this morning. Hearing the car engine, I saw Chenze leave in Guing Han's car. Only then did I go upstairs to get ready. An hour later, at a private room in a tea house, Liu Ruyan's mother, Zhao Lihuan, arrived late. When Zhao Lihuan saw it was me, the useless only son of the family, a look of pure contempt immediately flashed across her face. Manager Yang, just thinking about the things you did in the past. She didn't even bother giving me a decent look. Manager Yang has something he wants to discuss with you. Discuss? What do you even know about these things, Zhao? Zhao Lihuan saw that this wasn't going to be a real discussion about a script collaboration, but about signing her daughter instead. She straight up threw it back at me, looking at me like I was an idiot. Did you bring the wrong documents? Manager Yang said you wanted to scout us. I leaned back on the sofa, crossed my legs, and looked at her. To be honest with you, what we want is to sign Liu Ruyan. Then I'm afraid you're going to be disappointed. Zhao Lihuan grabbed her bag and stood up immediately. I calmly dropped a bombshell. Your daughter has severe depression. In this entertainment industry, the one thing we aren't short of is actors. If this secret gets leaked, do you think anyone would be willing to take the risk and cast her in a movie? Zhao Lijuan's face instantly turned pale. She turned her head to stare at me. How do you know she buys medicine in secret? She hasn't even seen a doctor yet. So how could you possibly know? I rested my arm on the sofa and looked at her with total indifference. What I know is far more than just that. For example, how you and your husband are gambling addicts, to the point of treating it like your very lives. When the money runs out, you exploit your daughter for movies, make her go out drinking, and serve people completely ignoring her illness. If this stuff hits the internet, what do you think her fans will do? Those 1,000 plus suicide notes are all the leverage I need to control her now. Zhao Lijuan looked at me trying to keep her cool. Don't you talk like that. Do you even have proof? Do you think I'd be sitting here talking to you if I didn't have proof? I brushed a lock of hair behind my ear. Actually, I don't have any physical evidence at all. But everything I'm saying is the stone cold truth. You think that not taking her to a doctor can hide the fact that she's depressed? But those self-inflicted wounds cut over and over again, time after time. How do you plan to cover those up, yo? Zhao Lijuan went completely limp at this point. Her limbs gave out as she slumped back down onto the sofa. Did she tell you herself? Do you think if she were willing to tell someone, she would have waited? Until now, anger surged within me, as if I was once again seeing that hopeless young girl right before her death. There's no such thing as a wall that doesn't leak air. I only put in the effort to investigate, because I wanted to sign her. She sees you as her mother, and doesn't want you to become the target of public backlash. But I'm not a philanthropist. I've already exposed everything you've done. Do you want to become a street rat that everyone wants to beat and be forced to vanish forever? Or do you want to keep leeching money off of her? After saying that, I stood up and looked at her with a mocking smile. I'm really curious, seeing her endure all that torment. How could you be heartless enough to keep exploiting her? But I don't have another chance. I wanted an answer from her, but it was clear this woman couldn't give me one. Thinking about the years I spent being beaten, cursed at, and exploited myself, like stepping out of the room, the rush of emotions made my eyes turn red. I leaned against the wall and looked up to calm down. Guing Han, having just finished a meeting in room 3, walked out and saw me, standing right outside the next room, leaning against the wall, looking lonely and isolated. A tear rolled down my face. I reached up to wipe it away, looking deeply saddened. Using the word heartbroken to describe me would truly be a strange thing. The person with her saw her stop, instinctively followed her gaze, and asked, "Is something wrong, CEO Gu?" Guing Han lowered her eyes and gave a few instructions. By the time she turned back to look for me, I was already gone. Guing Han ordered someone to pull the security footage. Back at the company, she called me into her office. "Check this out. What did Muchen and Zhao Lihuan talk about today?" Half an hour later, the assistant called to report, "Ma'am." He went to meet Zhao Lihuan to discuss signing Liu Ruyan. Since when did he start interfering in Mushi's business? Guing Han recalled that time on the street, the scene of that famous young starlet proactively throwing herself into his arms. So he was upset? Because he couldn't sign her, Guing Han tossed her phone aside. She loosened her collar, still feeling a lingering sense of irritation. She unbuttoned one more button at her neck, signed the contract, and bring her to the company. Su Jiao glanced at her. "I'll get on it right away." After Su Jiao stepped out, Guing Han's phone suddenly rang. She picked it up to check. Joint account 3456 just spent 1,028,888 RMB. Joint account 3456 just spent 38,888 RMB. Spending my money while thinking about another woman. I didn't notice Guing Han at the tea house. After stabilizing my mood, I headed out to the shopping mall. I bought a set of cosmetics for Wen Yudong and several neckties for Mu Jianzhang. Just as I was about to head back to the Mu family home, Guing Han messaged me. She really knows how to pick a time to boss me around. Buy me 2 outfits and bring them over. I gritted my teeth and replied with one word, "Okay." I didn't even know her size. I just estimated the measurements and randomly bought 2 sets of office wear for her. Back in the car, Liu Ruyan, who I added last time, but hadn't chatted with yet, suddenly sent me a message, "Hey, I want to meet you for a bit to talk about the contract." I checked the time and set an appointment with her. In the afternoon, I drove to the Gu Group and brought the clothes to the CEO's office. "Great CEO, here are the clothes you wanted." Guing Han looked at my fake smiling face, glanced at the shopping bags, and said, "Too ugly, go buy them again. This set and the one you're currently wearing aren't even different. If it wasn't nice, why would you wear it every day? Since you already know I wear it every day, do you think I'm still lacking this kind of style, like?" Guing Han looked at me coldly with a look of total dissatisfaction. It seems she isn't intentionally making things difficult for me. What style do you want then? It's hard to say. I'll know when I see it with my own eyes. My fists tightened, then gritting my teeth. I forced a half smile. Fine. I'll go buy them for you again right now. Guing Han looked at her watch and said, no rush. It's lunchtime. Buying them in the afternoon won't be late. I thought this bad girl still had a shred of humanity left, until I heard her continue, go cook first. I want braised pork and steamed sea bass. This bad girl actually dared to place an order, and she picked all the time-consuming dishes too. Filthy rich, yet still insists on home-cooked meals. Honestly, I can't even. I bought the groceries and headed back to the Mew house, asking the servant to prep the ingredients for me. I only had to season and put them in the pot. I left the actual simmering to the servants, and went to my room to catch up on some sleep. After eating, I brought lunch to the company for Guing Han, then went to pick out clothes for her. I've never bought clothes for a woman before, nor did I want to waste energy choosing for that bad girl. At the clothing store, I told the staff to pick out a few pre-styled outfits. Then I took photos of them. While browsing menswear, I sent one over and asked, do you like this one? Guing Han replied, ugly. I picked 2 men's outfits to try on, then sent a second set. Guing Han still replied, ugly. After trying my clothes, I patiently sent her a third set. Guing Han messaged back, ugly. I pulled out her card. I'm in a rush. I'll take these 2 sets for men and women first. Help me coordinate a few more sets. Then send the photos to me. Guing Han is clearly doing this on purpose. I'm not crazy enough to stay here picking clothes for her forever. I have plenty of ways to deal with her. Rich family's sole heir forced into marriage, married to Guing Han and loving her to death. If I'm looking at women's clothes, I'm definitely buying for my wife. I certainly won't hold back on the cash. The staff saw a big spender like me, immediately pulled out their phone to add me and saw me off. I didn't miss a single set of women's clothes in the shop, going through the trouble of coordinating every style. I sent Guing Han the 5th set of photos, then headed to a tea restaurant. With pretty good space and privacy, I booked a private room. Right as I stepped into the room, Wujikai walked out from the room opposite. He was heading to the restroom and just happened to see me arrive. I couldn't help but be stunned for a second. Chenza said, I've changed lately. The way I dress really does look different from before. I sent my location to Liu Ruyan, ordered drinks, sweets, and some snacks, then opened up my laptop. I continued writing my script, while dealing with Guing Han at the same time. Wujikai returned from the restroom and saw the server carrying drinks for 2, along with snacks into the private room opposite. 20 minutes later, he saw a woman wearing a hat and a mask push open the door to that private room. Such a big change. Turns out he has a new lover. As Chenze's best friend, he knew exactly how I used to bully Chenze back in the day. Guing Han already hates him. If she finds out I'm sneaking around with another woman, won't she hate him even more? He sent Guing Han a message directly. Your man is dating a starlet at the Time Flow tea restaurant. Time Flow. Guing Han saw this message and immediately called to check my location. I saw Liu Ruyan arrive and gave her a greeting, closed my laptop, and picked up my orange juice. For a sip, I sent Guing Han one more photo, put my phone away, and looked up to see Liu Ruyan, taking off her hat and mask, looking at her at 20 years old. In the prime of her youth, her face was so beautiful that it truly felt like a gift from the heavens. Her skin was as flawless as if she'd been soaked in milk. Her eyes, dark like gemstones, carried a natural depth of emotion. When she smiled, fans went wild. And when she didn't, she looked touchingly melancholic. Someone like that, a beauty who makes people scream at their screens, was sitting right across from me, staring straight at me. I took a sip of my drink and casually asked, what's up falling for me? Liu Ruyan immediately looked away in embarrassment, picking up her glass to take 2 quick gulps before looking back at me. I was just curious. How did you convince my mother? It seems Zhao Liwan hadn't told her about being threatened by me yet. I smiled and replied, naturally, it's because the terms I offered were too good. Your mother just couldn't resist the temptation. Then why did you offer such good terms? Because you're worth it. Feeling that sentence was a bit misleading, I quickly added, you're so talented. I believe that in the future, you can create even greater value. Liu Ruyan stared at me for a long time, as if she had finally confirmed something. Your taste, it really isn't that great. I looked up at her with a face full of question marks. Liu Ruyan's face turned bright red as she looked at me. You actually have eyes for Guing Han, yet the whole world knows you don't love her at all. I'm not as excellent as you think either. I didn't mind the first part of her sentence. I looked at her with a smile, my gaze indifferent yet seemingly piercing through to her soul. Are you already feeling the pressure? Scared of letting me down, what? Liu Ruyan's gaze toward me deepened. There was no romance in the way I looked at her, nor any obsession. But she felt that I understood her perfectly, that I could see her true self. It was as if I knew exactly how she was, suffocating in the cage her mother had built. So I used this contract to rescue her. Looking at me like that, I guess I hit the nail on the head. I leisurely ate some sweets, My phone vibrated. I opened it to see Guing Han had replied. I sent her another photo. Guing Han looked at the photo I just sent. Her hands on the steering wheel tightened and she immediately floored the gas pedal. 15 minutes later, she was standing outside my private room. I sent her one more photo. Just as I put my phone down, the door to the room slammed open, hitting the wall with a loud bang that sent vibrations everywhere. Immediately after, Guing Han stepped in with a darkened expression, marching toward me aggressively. Before I could think, she jerked me upward, forcefully pulling me into a tight embrace. Our body heat instantly mingled together. I was a bit surprised. This female lead is going pretty hard this time. Seems like she's beyond pissed that I played her. Hey, Liu Ruyan stood up, looking at me worriedly. Guing Han glared coldly, pausing for a beat, then ordered in a chilling voice, tell her to get out. Without a hint of fear, I looked at Liu Ruyan and signaled for her to leave. You should head back first. Liu Ruyan looked at me, then back at Guing Han. I gave her a reassuring look. Go on. My gaze toward Liu Ruyan was very warm, unlike when I looked at her, where my smile was incredibly fake. Do you like her that much? Intent on shattering my sweet dream, Guing Han pinned me against the edge of the table. With her hands braced on the table's edge, her body was almost pressed flush against mine. She shot a cold glance at Liu Ruyan. What, you want to watch my husband and me live stream, Ukits? I couldn't help but scoff internally. A little touch. And you can't even stand it yet, you're talking about live streaming. Liu Ruyan had no choice but to leave. In the private room, only the two of us remained. Guing Han looked down at me with cold eyes, hiding a brewing storm. So you've learned to play mind games with me. I gave her a weak, nonchalant glance. You told me to pick out clothes for you, and that's exactly what I'm doing. The store manager sent these over. I looked at every set very carefully. I sent you every single one I thought looked good. You're being so furious like this. Could it be that seeing me sitting here having tea with another woman made you jealous? I touched her collarbone. I know exactly what would disgust her the most. It's claiming that I like her. How could she possibly stand that? Guing Han looked like she just heard the joke of the century. She said coldly, me jealous? You really think too highly of yourself. I proactively pressed closer to her, adopting a sincere, caring, and coaxing tone to find an excuse for her. Then why are you so angry? Not satisfied with my choices? Then tell me, how do you want me to choose for you? Guing Han's hands, which were braced on the table, tightened into grips. Staring at my attempts to coax her, her expression softened just a little bit. Immediately after, she grabbed my hand that was caressing her waist and dragged me away. My laptop. I was quick-eyed and nimble, snatching up my laptop and phone in a flash. She dragged me all the way to the car and shoved me inside. 15 minutes later, Guing Han led me into a store in the women's section of the mall. She sat down on a lounge chair, glanced at me, and said, pick for me. I took the latest arrival, displayed in the most prominent spot, and showed it to her. How about this set, Uk? Guing Han glanced at it, then went back to looking at her phone. Clearly, it didn't catch her eye. A shop assistant immediately stepped up enthusiastically, holding up a set to help and introduce it to me. I think this style is also very nice. The cold gaze of Guing Han immediately swept toward her. I told him to pick, I didn't ask you. Say one more word and see what happens. The staff immediately left and steered clear. I guess I figured it out now. This toxic woman clearly wants to get back at me for the mind games I just played with her. The more I don't want to choose, the more she forces me to do it. I brought out set after set until my legs were about to break while Guing Han just sat there, legs crossed, casually playing on her phone. Occasionally, she'd just throw me a look of pure disdain. Sometimes, when I couldn't hold back, I had to speak up. Stop putting these random clothes in front of me. You just bring over every single set you see. Is this how carelessly you pick your own clothes too? Green is ugly. Do you want to give me a green hat to match? I ignored her being picky in every possible way, acting like an obedient person for once, following her lead to keep her satisfied. At the second store, I picked a set and then started to suggest, I think this one is okay. Do you want to go try it on, E? Guing Han shot me a look. If I tried on every set you thought was okay, I wouldn't even have the life left to make it to this store. I continued to coax her with the principle that as long as she's happy, it's fine. Then what do you think of this set? Guing Han glanced twice. It's nothing special. Clothes. You can't see the effect just by looking at them like this. You have to put them on to know. You told me to choose, yet you don't trust my aesthetic taste. Isn't that just wasting your precious time? Guing Han glared at me once. She tossed the magazine in her hand down and stood up, snatching the outfit out of my hand. Guing Han went into the fitting room. Finally, I can catch a break. I took out my phone to reply to a few messages. I ordered a drink. Just as I was about to sit down, I heard someone call out, Mu Chen, buying clothes for your wife again. She stays at hotels all the time and doesn't even bother coming home. Why buy? Will she even wear it? Men, you know, should really find a wife who knows how to cherish them. Look at me, I just wanted to come out for a stroll. But my wife insisted on tagging along because she was worried. constantly afraid I'd get too tired. Zhang Jinghao was like a peacock flaunting its feathers. In his words, it was all sarcasm and bragging aimed right at me. The scent of his cologne was so thick it stung my nose, making me feel instinctively nauseous. I searched for this guy in the original host's memory. It's the eldest young master of the Jiang family, Zhang Jinghao, who since high school has wanted to compete with me in everything. He's a relative on Guing Han's father's side. Right. You and your wife are a match made in heaven. Such a loving couple. I'm so envious I could cry. Here, how about I take a photo for the two of you? You two can post it on your feed, so others can have a chance to admire you too. Usually we'd have to clash for a few rounds, but he didn't expect me to surrender as soon as the match started. It seems he thinks I've been so hurt by Guing Han that even my pride as a young master has vanished. Zhang Jinghao immediately felt even more self-satisfied. The way he looked at me became even more pitying. I'm not trying to show off our love here. I just think you're pitiful. You chased Guing Han for so many years, yet she doesn't even want to touch you, does she? I just want to wake you up a bit. This desperate simp act of yours really devalues you. The fact that the original host was a simp who forced a marriage is known to the whole internet. Normally, wherever the original host went, passersby would point and gossip. Now that he's part of a famous loving couple, compared to that simp guy, the crowd of onlookers grew even larger. It really is degrading. It really shames us men. If it were me, my dad would be so mad he'd kick open his coffin lid and crawl out. Zhang Jinghao hearing the crowds. Comments became even more smug. Hear that, mooch, and think about your parents a bit. Don't let yourself become a laughingstock and dragging them down into the joke with you. I said, thanks for your kindness. In the future, don't waste your energy on me anymore. Spend your time caring for your wife instead. Live your own life well. Don't end up with a lush green prairie growing on your head. While you're at it, Zhang Jinghao scoffed as if he had just heard the funniest thing in the world. A green prairie on my head, honey, he's just bitter because his marriage is a failure. Seeing how happy we are, he just wants to stir up trouble and drive us apart. We should stay far away from this kind of person. The woman tightened her grip on his waist, looking at me with a sarcastic expression. You're already hated, so even if you're clingy, don't come out here acting like a clown and running your mouth. I'm running my mouth. I didn't want to get involved in this mess, but this toxic woman's words were just too nasty. There's a passage in the book about her at a future dinner party. She sets her sights on Chenzhe. Guing Han showed up just in time, and the affair she'd been hiding for so long was finally exposed. Zhang Jinghao thought he married a wife who loved him. In reality, he was just cursed. I know your love is unrequited, so you're jealous to this extent. No wonder Guing Han doesn't like you, and prefers that Chenzhe guy instead. Look at Chenzhe, how thoughtful and kind he is. Then look at yourself. I burst out laughing at his stupidity, and then stepped closer. So what if I am? I'm richer than you, handsomer than you, and I'm not a cuckold. At most, I'm just living the life of a trophy husband. Once I divorce, I'm still top-tier material, which is 10,000 times better than someone like you who treats a pile of crap like a treasure. You pretty boy, who are you calling a pile of crap? The woman's face darkened and she gave me a shove. I didn't expect this woman to actually get physical. After being pushed back a few steps, I bumped into a soft body. The moment I regained my balance, Guing Han pulled me to one side. Then she launched a direct kick into that woman's stomach. Everything happened so fast I couldn't even react. The woman was kicked back, taking Zhang Jinghao down to the ground with her. The woman screamed in a rage, "Who the hell is blind enough to kick me?" Guing Han coldly delivered another kick. It's your grandma. When the woman saw who it was, she immediately shut her mouth. Zhang Jinghao looked at Guing Han, his eyes nearly popping out of his head in shock. Guing Han, why are you here? Do I need to report my whereabouts to you? Guing Han shot him a chilling glare. Dragging this thing around to show off? Don't you find it embarrassing? The drink I ordered was brought out. I sipped it while watching her beat people up, feeling a bit confused. But then again, I didn't want to waste brain cells trying to understand. I have to admit the female lead is truly the female lead. She can pull off any clothing style perfectly. The streetwear fashion look on her body is even more attractive than her office wear. Guing Han turned around and saw me standing there casually drinking water. Her expression darkened instantly. What are you looking at? Get over here now. I walked over and immediately started kissing up to her. After changing into this outfit, I thought some big superstar had arrived. I almost didn't recognize you. Guing Han gave me a side eye and then reached out to yank me closer. She looked down at me from just an inch away. Her scent wafted directly into my face. I looked up at her face. Even if you magnified it 100 times, it would still be absolutely flawless. My hand holding the cup tightened. I took a somewhat aggressive gulp of water. What are you doing? Guing Han stared at me coldly, issuing an order without any politeness. The tag is poking my neck. Take it out. suppressing the urge to kick her a few times. I reached behind her neck to pull the tag out. In that instant, Zhang Jinghao and his wife, who had just crawled up, were both stunned. The crowd of onlookers was also stunned on the spot. Didn't they say he was just a simpa? Didn't they say Guing Han didn't like him? Didn't they say he was living like a lonely widower? Rumors really can't be trusted. How could a rich young master be totally brainless? As for being clingy and shameless, Isoldes, just look at the way Guing Han is looking at him. If that's not love, I'll walk on my head. Guing Han is really tall. I had to tiptoe to maintain some distance. This posture was a bit exhausting. Before I could even reach the clothing tag, I lost my balance and slammed right into her chest. A faint, pure fragrance instantly hit my nose. Guing Han stood there, her whole body stiffening. I felt awkward for a few seconds before finally pulling the tag off. Before I could back away, Guing Han grabbed my waist and pressed me firmly against her. A little more. I was forced to look up at her. Guing Han looked down at me, a faint smile playing on her lips laced with mockery. I told you to remove the tag, yet you proactively threw yourself into my arms. Still haven't given up on me. Huh. I reached out and touched her waist. So you figured it out after all. My mouth admitted I hadn't given up on her, but my eyes didn't hold a shred of affection. Guing Han stared intently at me, her eyes darkening with unreadable emotions. I leaned in closer to her, my warm breath brushing against the corner of her lips. To tell you the truth, I was even kissing you in my dreams last night. The next second, Guing Han pushed me away. Just as predicted, she gave me a cold glare, then icily swept her gaze over the nosy crowd. Only then did everyone scatter like disturbed bees. Guing Han took out her ringing phone to answer. President Gu Liu Ruyan has already signed the contract. She signed with the Mu Corporation. She glanced over at me as I was sipping my juice. Then poach her. I finished my glass of chilled juice and looked toward Guing Han with a refreshed expression. Seeing her staring at me with a sour expression, the atmosphere in those captured photos gives people the illusion of love. Even she had to space out for a moment. Everyone in the comment section fell for it. Netizens these days are really top tier with their wordplay. I was successfully baited in by the headline. I planned to come in and watch a clown show, but instead I got a mouthful of dog food. Are you two being polite? You call this not being in love, damn. If this isn't love, then what is? Mu Chen's life is complete now. Look at that woman's gaze. There's only his reflection in her eyes. It makes me want to swap places with him immediately. God, come out here and give us some justice. Giving them wealth and looks is one thing, but you gave them love too. Why am I the one with nothing? Which God do I have to worship to get a woman like that? Bro, upstairs, just try going to sleep. It's faster to dream. Secretary Zhao immediately called to take down the hot search. She's been with the CEO for years. The CEO hates being on the hot search with her husband, especially the ones about them being a lovey-dovey couple. Every time she's ordered to take them down. If she's too late, she gets scolded and loses her bonus. This time, she has to make it perfect. So Jingyao sent a message, don't come tonight. I'm already full from all that dog food. Zhou Jingyao sent a message, post less of this kind of news next time. I don't care for his overacting. Mu Chen glanced at me. I feel like he's cursing me under his breath. Try on these shoes for me. She had a look of total reluctance. How could I be never mind helping you try on shoes, eh? I'm even willing to help you try on clothes. How about I help you try on a few more sets later? Guing Han thought I was trying to be a creep. That fake smile made her throat tighten. My face was full of question marks. Guing Han let out a faint smile and stood up. Then don't wait for later. Let's go right now. I'm speechless. This toxic woman? I felt extremely disgusted inside. Immediately after, she dragged me into a clothing store. Before I could even react, Guing Han grabbed 2 outfits and pulled me straight into the fitting room. The space in the fitting room was cramped. The distance between us was barely an inch. The air began to thin out. Guing Han hung the clothes on the hook nearby. Those deep eyes of hers seemed like they had seen right through my little tricks. What are you just standing there for? I cursed under my breath. She's allergic and disgusted by me anyway. It's not like she'll actually let me touch her. What do I have to be afraid of? Free fan service and free touches like this. Why wouldn't I enjoy it? I gnashed my teeth and forced a smile. I reached out to unbutton the collar of her shirt. Guing Han looked down, staring intently at me. I stood on my tiptoes to reach the button on her shirt collar. My small hand accidentally brushed against her skin. I could clearly feel her body stiffen. This woman is probably feeling disgusted again. I felt that if I didn't hurry up, I'm afraid there wouldn't be anything left to see. But this was my first time unbuttoning a woman's shirt, so I had zero experience. Plus, having to stay on my toes, I couldn't get it open. My hand went numb, and the moment I lowered it, the button from her collar was sitting right in the palm of my hand. Guing Han's cold gaze looked down. I gave an awkward, apologetic smile. My bad. I was in too much of a hurry. The second button, the third button, my eyes fell on the skin inside. Her shirt. There wasn't a hint of affection, only pure desire. Guing Han took it all in. Her expression shifted repeatedly. Just as I was trying to get a better look, I was shoved away forcefully by Guing Han. By the time I snapped out of it, I saw her taking out her phone while opening the door and walking out with a cold aura. I'll wait for you here, okay? I just wanted to swear. Who the hell has no eyes? Calling her right at that moment. Right then I sat down and took out my own phone, which was buzzing non-stop. The original host network of informants were busy spamming me with messages. I opened them to take a look. Guing Han answered Zhao's call while rebuttoning her shirt. President Guo, when will you be back at the office? There's a stack of urgent documents needing your signature. After ending the call, she instinctively went to fasten her collar button. The button was gone. She glanced back at the fitting room. Seeing that I still hadn't come out, her face darkened and she walked straight away. Back at the office, Secretary Jiao brought the documents to her, speaking with a hint of boasting. President Guo, you and Mr. Mu hit the hot search again? But I reacted quickly and immediately had it taken down. It's no longer on the trending list. Guing Han looked up at her. Jiao waited but heard no praise. She kept stealing glances at her boss, sensing something was wrong, only to see her coldly curl her lips and speak. I see you've been quite free lately. Within one day, I want to see all the info on the offshore project in the north. Jiao was speechless as she took the documents and left. Guing Han picked up her phone and searched the keyword. Guing Han doesn't love Muchen. Sure enough, it was no longer on the hot search. I've been tortured by Guing Han for so long. My desire to overthrow her was incredibly intense. I immediately rushed to the Mu Corporation to find Bai Ningbing. The sun was blazing and it was sweltering outside. As soon as I arrived, I flopped down onto a chair, grabbing a folder from the desk to fan myself. Bai Ningbing glanced at me and lowered the AC by a few degrees. Aren't you on a date with Guing Han? Why are you here? I recalled that comment section. That hot search claiming Guing Han and I were all lovey-dovey. To this moment, I still can't wrap my head around it. The nauseating feeling that I had to keep suppressing over and over again. How could that be mistaken for love? I looked up at Bai Ningbing. If I were actually dating her, I wouldn't be free enough to come find you. Bai Ningbing looked at me. Is it possible she's fallen for you? There's no way in hell she likes me. I stated with absolute certainty. How can you be so sure? Bai Ningbing watched me, her gentle gaze suddenly turning deep. I set the folder back down on the desk. I've revolved my life around her for years. Who she likes, how could I not know? She's putting on this act just to create the illusion that the relationship between our families is going great, so that you guys drop your guard against her. Then she'll take the chance to crush the Mu family. I came here to remind you to stay on high alert against her. Guing Han threatening me, torturing me, and refusing to divorce. It proves she's definitely going to follow her main plotline. In the end, she'll destroy the Mu family and leave me with nothing. I have to be extra cautious. Bai Ningbing looked at how overly stressed I was, as if I were certain the company was about to face a crisis. Did you find any issues at the company? I shook my head. Nothing. Bai Ningbing looked puzzled. No issues with the projects either. I sighed. None. Bai Ningbing was slightly surprised that nothing could be found. If I can't find anything, and I can't stop the female lead's scheme, I'm afraid my only option left is to make a ton of money. Bai Ningbing couldn't help but ask. That isekai novel you gave me to read last time, how did it end? I shrugged helplessly. I don't know either. The author hasn't finished writing it. If you're interested, wait until he finishes and sends it to me. Then I'll let you read it. I took a piece of chocolate out of my pocket, unwrapped it, and ate it myself. Standing up to say goodbye, I saw her staring at me. So I took out another piece and gave it to her, before finally leaving. Leaving the company, I drove back to the Mu Villa. The book says that, after the Gu Group acquires Shifeng Pharmaceuticals, Shifeng's stock, which had been dropping for months, will start hitting its daily upper limit consecutively in less than half a month. It could potentially double the assets in the stock market. According to the plot, the acquisition will take place in just a few days. At this point, I don't have a good excuse, so I'll just have to buy it myself. But I've been isekai'd here for too short a time. My account isn't yet eligible for margin trading. I decided to borrow Wen Yudong's brokerage account. As soon as I got home, Aunt Liu told me Wen Yudong had been following the drama about me and Guing Han online all afternoon. My mood suddenly became a bit complicated. Seeing me return, Wen Yudong finally put her phone away and immediately told Aunt Liu to prepare dinner. Have Guing Han come over for dinner tonight. I tried to deflect, saying she might not have time tonight. Wen Yudong urged, just ask her. I really didn't want Guing Han coming over for dinner at all. Considering she wants to destroy the Mu family, she doesn't deserve to eat the Mu family's food, but I wanted to go back and cook for her even less. I sent a text to Guing Han. My mom wants you to come over for dinner tonight. Guing Han replied very bluntly, not free. Seeing her answer, I felt completely relieved, not free. She's definitely planning to go explain to Chen Zhe about the scandal on the hot search. That way I don't have to cook for her either. Guing Han finished her work. Checked the time on her watch. then picked up her phone again to look at her not free message. This man really didn't even bother to reply. With a single text, seems like he really didn't want her to come. She put her phone away and stood up. By the time she reached the Mu villa, it was 5:30. In the past, every time she came to the Mu house, my parents would make subtle remarks to warn her, making her experience the feeling of being threatened over and over again. Later, when she was no longer threatened by the Mu Corporation, she never returned here. As soon as she walked in, she saw me and Bai Ningbing sitting on the sofa chatting. I don't know what I was saying to her, but the smile on my face was completely different from the fake one I used when facing her. Bai Ningbing was peeling a pomegranate, her gaze seemingly glued to me. Wen Yudong smiled brightly. To welcome Guing Han, you're here. Only then did Bai Ningbing and I look up at her. I was discussing the short film shoot with Bai Ningbing. Seeing Guing Han arrive, I froze for a moment. This crazy woman, didn't she say she wasn't free? Bai Ningbing glanced at Guing Han, then handed the plate of peeled pomegranate seeds to me. I reflexively took a few and popped them into my mouth, earning a glare from Bai Ningbing. Hold it yourself. I blinked for a second, then took the plate. I thought she was peeling them because she wanted to eat. I didn't expect them to be for me. Who wouldn't like a woman like this? Looking back at Guing Han's cold face, acting as if I owe her hundreds of millions, man, I'm already sick of it. Didn't you say you weren't free? Guing Han ignored Bai Ningbing, took the pomegranate from my hand, set it on the coffee table, and gave me a cold side eye. Didn't I want to give you a surprise? She put heavy emphasis on the word surprise. After saying that, she completely ignored everyone else, reached out to wrap her arm around my waist, and pulled me tight against her. Her breath, sometimes shallow, sometimes deep, brushed against my ear. If I knew coming here would ruin the mood, while you flirt with women, I wouldn't have come. I couldn't help but roll my eyes at her. Don't talk nonsense. Watch your attitude when talking to me. If it wasn't for the fact that my family is all here, I would definitely use a lovey-dovey act to make her feel disgusted. Seeing that Guing Han just arrived and only had eyes for her son Wen Yudong, happily called everyone to dinner. Only then did Guing Han let me go, quietly twitching the palm of the hand that just held me. I stole a glance. I really wanted to pull out 2 tissues and wipe her hand for her. It's been a long time since Guing Han came home to eat. Mu Jianzhang holds a huge grudge against her. At the dining table, he didn't even bother to say a single word to her. For her son's sake, Wen Yudong still treated her like a VIP, smiling and greeting her warmly. Bai Ningbing observed quietly, showing no expression at all. In the past, at the dining table, I would always nonstop put food on Guing Han's plate. Whatever was delicious, I'd give it to her. Now I only cared about enjoying my own meal. Guing Han couldn't help but steal a glance at me. Seeing this, Wen Yudong couldn't help but remind me, Mu Chen, don't just focus on eating by yourself. Take care of Qing Han a bit. I replied casually. She's in her 20s already. Not a child who needs someone to take care of her. I didn't want them to know I wanted a divorce. Being threatened into staying married made me furious. Though I said that, I still conveniently put some food on Guing Han's plate. Everyone please eat. After Guing Han, I put food on my dad's plate, then my mom's, and even on Bai Ningbing's. In short, I played it safe across the board. I love everyone equally. After serving them, I was about to eat when I saw my parents staring at me. Bai Ningbing was also staring at me, and even Guing Han was staring at me. I found it a bit confusing. Why is everyone staring at me instead of eating? Mu Jianzhang looked at his son. In his eyes, it wasn't just Guing Han anymore. He had finally started to pick up good food for his parents too. He finally broke into a happy smile. Honey, go get me that bottle of wine that I've been collecting for the past 15 years. I suddenly remembered his ending in the book and immediately spoke up to stop him. Dad, you have the 3 highs, high blood pressure / sugar / fat. You can't drink wine? Wen Yudong looked surprised, glancing at me for a moment, then chimed in, that's right, Chen Chen is right. Mu Jianzhang, seeing his son remember even his medical condition, felt his mood get even better. He laughed so hard that the wrinkles at the corners of his eyes deepened. Fine, I'll listen to my son and won't drink. Wen Yudong smiled and put some greens on his plate. Eat more vegetables. Watching them laugh and chat happily, I thought back to my birth parents, with my parents. No matter how hard I tried to please them, they never once smiled because of me. And yet these two, just from a single caring remark of mine, could be this overjoyed. They are truly easy to satisfy, so easy that it made my heart ache. It was like I was seeing my old self, a child, who once craved even a little affection from their parents. If everything right now is just a dream, I'd rather stay drunk on this dream forever and never wake up. This was the first time Guing Han was no longer the main character at this dining table. The first time. This table was filled with joyful laughter, without that suffocating atmosphere. After dinner, Wen Yudong and Mu Jianzhang chatted. Happily, Mu Chen had changed, and Guing Han seemed to have changed too. In the past, that girl wouldn't even look their son in the eye. Today at the table, she looked at him several times. Seems like she's finally tasting what it's like to be ignored. On the contrary, Muchen didn't seem to care about her much anymore. She deserves it, mom. It's actually better seeing Muchen like this now. Guing Han looked at Bai Ningbing, then looked back at the guy clearly planning to flirt, which was me. She walked straight over and pulled me up from the sofa. Let's go home. At our house, there's food and drinks. There are servants, Isoli, and there's someone to spoil you. I originally didn't want to go at all, but one look at Guing Han and that threatening gaze clearly forbidding any resistance made me realize it wasn't worth arguing with her. I said goodbye to everyone and went home with her. I haven't slept well these past 2 days. After showering, I intended to fall into a deep sleep. Guing Han sent me a message. No need to write a long essay today. Just post the hot search photo, set it to public for everyone to see. I was so mad I gnashed my teeth and played dumb, asking back what hot search photo it. Guing Han sent me the link. I feigned shock. Do you like me? 2 minutes later, Guing Han replied. Haven't seen it posted on your moments yet? I'll throw you in the police station, so you'll know exactly whether I like you or not. I cursed under my breath while saving the photo, then posted it to my moments, with a caption specifically meant to annoy her. Was forced to post this by someone. Look everyone. Hasn't she fallen madly in love with me? Chen Zhe was also on her friend list. If he sees this, he'll probably explode with jealousy. And if he's jealous, Guing Han will be busy comforting him, and won't have time to torture me anymore. Very quickly after that, a flood of comments started appearing below. I don't believe she forced you to post it. Unless she also posts something to show off. Exactly. If she doesn't flex, I won't believe she loves you. No matter how much she loves you, it's nothing compared to how much you love her. Su Jingjiao directly tagged her in the sister group. At Guing Han, Muchen said you forced him to post about your relationship. Is it true or false? Zhou Jingyao quickly followed suit. Wow, truly hard to imagine. Song Qingyuan +1. Su Jingjiao continues +2. Guing Han just finished her shower and came out. Seeing the messages, she smirked. Fuming with anger, she tossed her phone aside. What a bunch of blind fools. There isn't even any love, so how could we flex our romance? The next day after finishing breakfast, I planned to head over to the management company. However, I was called back by Guing Han. Come to the office. With me. I reluctantly refused. What would I even do at your office? Guing Han let out a cold snort. To ensure you're present. Whenever I call. I didn't back down either. Even if I don't go to the office, I'm still on call. Guing Han saw right through my petty thoughts and gave me a warning glare. I'll give you 2 minutes. This crazy woman really knows how to torture me. I had no choice but to grab my laptop and gloomily follow her to the office. The director's side had already started the prep work for the filming. Originally, I planned to go to the management company to find the person in charge and head to the schools to recruit the male and female leads. Well, great, now I can't go at all. At the management company, under the Mu Corporation, Liu Ruyan arrived to sign her contract. While in the restroom, Xia Yudong spoke with a sarcastic tone. A guy who only knows how to revolve around women. A rich young master who's good for nothing. Will the movie he's filming even amount to anything? He's just putting on a show, though, making up to polish his reputation. If it were actually a good script, would it even be our turn as rookies? Wouldn't the actors with a bit of fame in the company have already fought each other to snatch it away? I heard he asked Brother Yan and Sister He to lead, but they both turned him down. Xia Yudong continued her mockery. Anyone with a bit of fame doesn't want to join. Who knows where? He got that script from. He's so overconfident with those high demands. You volunteered to join, but he wouldn't even give you a supporting role. Sun Jinglan defended him in a low voice. I don't have experience. If he can give me a supporting role, I'll be more than satisfied. Chu Mukin curled her lips. They don't even have leads. Whether this movie even gets filmed is a mystery. Who knows, though? Maybe he's just doing this on a whim. Sun Jinglan recalled last night. He was in the group chat encouraging everyone, talking about how filming starts next week. She couldn't help but talk back. He's serious about this. Xia Yudong was about to say more when she suddenly spotted Liu Ruyan. She couldn't help but scream, Liu Ruyan, I'm your fan. Can I get your autograph? Liu Ruyan glanced at her, ignoring the pen and notebook she held out. Her usual smile was nowhere to be found. You're not worthy of being my fan. Sun Jinglan was also a bit excited, but seeing Xia Yudong get rejected, she didn't dare hold out the notebook she'd taken out. She just gripped it tightly in her hands, staring at her without blinking. Sister Ruyan, why are you here? Liu Ruyan glanced at her, then snatched the small notebook from her, pulled a pen from her own bag and signed it. She smiled as she handed it back. You'll know soon. A while after Liu Ruyan left, Xia Yudong finally reacted. What did she mean by that? You are dead. Is she coming to our company? Chu Muqin guessed. Could it be? She's going to play the female lead in Mu Chen's movie. Xia Yudong was full of disbelief. How is that possible? She's so popular right now. Any random role she takes pays tens of millions. Why would she accept such a low salary? For a movie with zero guarantees, Chu Muqin muttered. but she only gave her autograph to Sun Jinglan just now. I followed Guing Han to the office. While she worked, I pulled out my phone, intending to delegate the search for the leads to Bai Ningbing to handle. My phone rang. Liu Ruyan sent me a message. Hey, I heard you're about to film a new movie, I replied. Liu Ruyan pressed, can I be in it? Oh yeah. I was a bit stunned and intended to explain clearly. The movie I'm planning to shoot isn't a traditional TV series. The starting point is very low, and the requirements are also very low. After sending it, I immediately felt a cold gaze from Guing Han. I instantly switched my phone to vibrate mode. Liu Ruyan persisted. Can I play the lead? Yeah. I continued to advise against it. You could, of course, but having you do it would be a total waste of talent. I have a better plan for you. Liu Ruyan insisted. I want to do it. Didn't you say you'd give me full right to choose? I helplessly reminded her there's no salary. The filming schedule is super tight, and the actors are all newbies with zero acting skills. Liu Ruyan didn't mind at all. I know, I sighed. You know that and you still want to do it? Bullshit. Liu Ruyan sent back a firm statement. Listen, good stuff is definitely good stuff. I can't afford to miss out on this. Who was it yesterday that said my vision was bad? I signed her just because I wanted to save her, since she's so similar to my real life self. I don't want her to end up like the book says, having to commit suicide in despair. Right now, the most important thing is her happiness. I didn't intend for her to make that much money. For the company anyway. She wants to act, so I agreed. With Liu Ruyan as the female lead and her existing fan base, she'll definitely become even more famous. If the male lead isn't up to par, maybe I should just do it myself. That way, once the movie blows up, my parents will have something to brag about whenever they mention their son. Besides, being an actor means getting to kiss all the beauties in showbiz and admiring all those long, gorgeous legs. I held my phone, lost in my delusions, when I accidentally met Guing Han's cold eyes. I immediately wiped the smile off my face. Guing Han gave me a side eye. Go pour me a glass of water. The water dispenser was right next to us. I stood up and got her a cup of cold water. Guing Han glanced at it with pure disdain. I downed the water in that paper cup in one gulp, glared at Guing Han and tossed it in the trash. Then I went to pour her a cup of boiling water. Guing Han frowned, hating that I used a disposable paper cup. I grit my teeth and endured it. Then where's your mug? Guing Han let out a cold snort. Suddenly, I don't want to drink anymore. Looking at her, my fists are already starting to clench. Guing Han sneered, losing your patience already. I forced a smile. How would I dare? Guing Han didn't bother giving me a nice look. Go downstairs and buy me a cup of coffee. This time I played it smart. I smiled and asked, what flavor do you want? Guing Han stopped writing and looked up. What flavors are there? I immediately replied, let me go down and check for you. Once I got there, I snapped a photo of the menu and sent it to her. However, Guing Han didn't even bother to reply. So I just bought one of every single flavor. I swiped her card and had the staff carry them up. Guing Han stood up, getting ready for a meeting, when she saw me coming up, with staff behind me carrying dozens of coffee cups. I pointed at the pile of coffee. Every single flavor is right here. I flashed her the most fake smile possible. Guing Han gave me a frigid look. She casually grabbed one cup. Clean up the office properly. The office is spotless. What is there even to clean? I took one cup for myself and distributed the rest of the coffee to the staff in the CEO's office area. Then I sat right in her office, opened up the stock trading software, and went all in personally on Saifeng pharmaceutical stocks. After that, I went back to writing the script. Guing Han came back after her meeting to find me sitting cross-legged on the sofa, my fingers flying across the laptop keyboard at lightning speed. That speed was something even a long-time computer user might not necessarily be able to type that fast. Since I couldn't go out and flirt with women, I had to vent my frustration while in a bad mood. She loosened the tie at her collar, returned to her desk, and sat down. Leaning back in her chair, she looked at me. Pour me a glass of water. I was focusing when she interrupted me. Grit my teeth. I snapped the laptop shut and walked over. My eyes narrowed as I smiled, but the smile didn't reach my eyes. Do you want hot water or cold water? Pausing for a moment, I couldn't resist adding another line. Or do you want to drink my saliva? Guing Han's face immediately darkened. The corner of her mouth curled up coldly. What do you think? My fingers tapped on the desk. I walked around the desk, getting closer to her, looking at her with a wicked expression. I thought she would push me away like last time. But Guing Han only glared at me coldly, as if seeing through the fact that I wouldn't actually dare to do it. She wasn't even afraid. So I sat straight down on her lap. I could feel Guing Han's body stiffening at a speed, visible to the naked eye. Her expression kept changing, which was extremely entertaining. Her palms gripped the armrest of the chair tightly, clearly making an effort to suppress something. Seeing her disgusted, my mood suddenly brightened up. My fingernail traced a circle on her chest. The coffee I just drank had extra milk. Do you want to have a taste? Guing Han stared at me, her face instantly turning both black and red. Get off. I leaned close to her ear and whispered, I only know how to roll around in bed. I looked no different from a lecherous old man who was starving for action. Guing Han reached out to push me away. I hugged her neck tightly, intending to use this chance to gross her out once and for all, so that in the future she'd be traumatized just by seeing me. As it turned out, the office door was suddenly pushed open. The secretary hurriedly used her documents to cover her face. I didn't see anything. You two just carry on. I'll come back later. Guing Han shoved a hand and pushed me off her. She straightened her clothes. Before Secretary Zhao could close the door, she barked out, Get back in here. Secretary Zhao kept her head down, afraid of seeing things she shouldn't. Yes, CEO Gu. I stood to the side, smoothing my hair. Guing Han grabbed a pen to sign, her cold gaze sweeping over. What are you still standing here for? I glanced at her, intentionally twisting her words. Fine, I'll go back to bed and wait for you. That difficult expression on Guing Han's cold face turned purple with rage in an instant. Did he just hear something he wasn't supposed to? Is his head gonna roll? He peeked at Guing Han, seeing her teeth grinding together. Stop daydreaming. There's a kitchen in the back. Go cook. I had no choice but to turn and go inside. Only then did I realize there wasn't just a kitchen, but also a lounge for online meetings, a break room and a bathroom. It seems that before this, Guing Han frequently stayed here. I looked around, then opened the fridge. The fridge was empty. I was about to step out when I saw Chen Zi arrive. I quickly backed away. Chen Zi looked at Guing Han and placed the bag in his hand on the desk. After my mom was discharged, she made this herself. She insisted I bring it for you to try. Guing Han asked about her health. How is her recovery going, though? Chen Zi replied gently. Recovery is great. She's very sharp. Eating and sleeping well. Chen Zi looked at her, eyes full of suppressed affection. When will you be free? He keeps mentioning he wants to invite you over for a meal. To thank you for your help before. Guing Han replied indifferently. I'll visit him when I'm free. Chen Zi squeezed his fingertips lightly. He didn't know what else to say. Ever since that drunken confession, he couldn't stop thinking about her attitude. However, she acted as if nothing had ever happened. If she didn't have feelings for him, then what was with all the special care over all these years? But if she did have feelings for him, why didn't she give him any kind of response? She even went shopping with Mu Chen and let such intimate photos leak. With her current power and status, she didn't need to fear the Mu family or endure such humiliation. He was understanding her less and less. Guing Han broke the silence. Are you busy with anything else? If you have work, go ahead and do it. If not, stay for lunch? Chen Zi reacted a beat late. He reached up to rub his temples. I'm off for the next few days. Okay, so I'm not busy. The next second, he heard her coldly look toward where I was eavesdropping. Did you hear that if you did go buy groceries? I had been perking up my ears, listening with great interest. Hearing this, I had no choice but to step out. Chen Zi instinctively looked inside. Seeing me walk out from the inner room, his palms instantly clenched tight. He thought she was going to take him out to eat. Just the two of them. He didn't expect her to want me to cook a meal to entertain him. She really has finalized me as her husband. I enthusiastically greeted Chen Zi. I'm heading out to buy food. You two take your time chatting. I saved the file on my computer, grabbed my phone and walked out. Chen Zi pursed his lips and looked at Guing Han. Go on with your work, I'm going to the restroom for a bit. A few minutes later, he sent Guing Han a message. Wujikai just looked for me and asked to meet up. So I'm leaving first. Let's have that meal another time. As soon as I reached the supermarket, I went on a wild shopping spree. Guing Han told me to cook for Chen Zi. If this happened to the original host, he definitely would have caused a huge scene. But I'm different. My motto is to play matchmaker for them. I just hope they spark like dry wood and fire ASAP. I bought the groceries and even grabbed a bunch of snacks for Chen Zi. In the end, I came back hauling 2 huge bags to the office, only to find Guing Han there all by herself. Guing Han shot me a glance. That guy, sounds pretty intimate. Did you forget how you treated him before? I placed a bag of snacks on the desk. It's exactly because I regret how I treated him in the past that I want to make it up to him now. These are the snacks I bought for him. Give them to him when he gets back, okay? Guing Han looked at the snack bag on the desk, then looked up at me. My forehead was still beaded with sweat, but my face showed zero fakeness or annoyance toward Chen Zi. She calmly looked away and loosened her tie. He's gone. My voice shook as I shrieked, gone. How could you let him leave? Guing Han looked up coldly. Chen Zi left. I was clearly upset and even snapped at her. Did you say something to piss him off? Or was it the shopping trip yesterday? You still haven't explained it clearly to him. So did he misunderstand? Or did he confess and you still haven't answered? I'm honestly so exhausted. The leads are being so slow and indecisive. When will I ever be free? I literally want to take their hands and just teach them how to date already. But as it turns out, this crazy woman didn't listen to a single word I said. Guing Han slammed her signing pen onto the desk. Since when is my business any of your concern? Go cook. Seeing her completely unfazed expression, I could only grit my teeth and carry the groceries into the kitchen. The male lead already confessed earlier than expected. Logically speaking, a woman should have put the divorce on the agenda by now, right? But clearly she has no intention of doing that. She's staying really calm. She even suddenly put me on the hot search and brought me to the office to make everyone misunderstand that our relationship is great. It seems her secret intention to overthrow. The Mu family is very intense. She has that female lead aura, yet Bai Ningbing's side hasn't been able to find even a single clue. So can I start making my move from her end? I cooked 3 dishes with an extremely good attitude. I invited Guing Han to have a meal, casually glancing at the documents on her desk. In the afternoon, while Guing Han was at a meeting, I started stealthily rummaging through the papers on her desk. After flipping through them, it was all just regular approval reports. While Guing Han wasn't back yet, I continued writing the script. The next day, Guing Han forced me to follow her to the office again. The only happy thing was that at 10 a.m., I saw the news about the Mu Corporation wanting to acquire Shifeng Pharmaceutical. Opening my stock account to check, trading had already been suspended. Nice, I successfully bought in, right when it started to pump. Since I couldn't find any useful info in her office, I used Guing Han's money to treat everyone in the CEO's office to milk tea and snacks to build some connections. Work should be a mix of labor and rest. You guys are all my wife's right-hand people. For the company to grow like this, your contribution is no small feat. These little gifts are a token of my appreciation. Don't be shy. In the past, the CEO's husband at the company never even bothered to spare them a glance. Usually if I caused a scene at the office, just them looking over to gossip a bit would get them a harsh scolding from me. Yet now I was bringing them food. With such a welcoming face, everyone was too afraid to speak out of turn and just politely accepted. I proactively looked for topics to bridge the gap. How many years have you worked here? 2 years, sir. A handsome guy like you got a partner yet? Not yet. I'll introduce someone to you one of these days. The others immediately joined in to tease him. Me too, brother-in-law. I'm also a single Pringle right here. The people the CEO's husband introduces couldn't possibly have bad specs. Everyone was clamoring and shouting. Guing Han returned from outside and happened to see me sitting on a male employee's desk, gossiping with everyone quite animatedly. Since he can't flirt with women outside anymore, is he planning to drop lines right in her company? She coldly asked out loud. Jing Yao was following behind the CEO. Is everyone this free all day? Jing Yao tapped the doorframe with a stack of documents. Is all the required work finished? I turned my head and saw Guing Han with a dark face staring intently at me. Get out here. I smiled and waved goodbye to everyone, then followed Guing Han back to the office. Guing Han sat down in her office chair, loosened her tie and glanced at me coldly. Do you want me to arrange a position for you? In the CEO's office, I stole a glance at her. Of all the big and small matters in the company, the CEO's office is the first place to hear the news. I'd love to go, of course. But this crazy woman seems like she's just mocking me. I'll listen to whatever you say. I'm just a brick by your side. Wherever you tell me to go, I'll lay there. Guing Han was so angry she laughed. Her tie was pulled messy by her, and the top button of her collar was undone, looking both wild and reckless, yet also having a bit of charm. Quite sexy indeed. The next second I heard Guing Han command. I want to eat dumplings for lunch. Must be the handmade kind. I grit my teeth and smiled. Do you want to eat me instead? I'm all natural right here. Guing Han shot me a look. Then jump into the pot and boil yourself. I grit my teeth. Fine. I'll go make your dumplings okay, so like handmade on top of that. I really just wanted to mince her like filling, but I'm currently being threatened. Pissing her off won't end well for me. Guing Han really doesn't want to let me live in peace. Before heading out this afternoon, she even warned me, stay obediently in this office. If I catch you bothering other people, at work again. For several days straight, Guing Han forced me to follow her to the company daily. My range of activity was limited strictly to her office. I couldn't go anywhere. Everything could only be coordinated via phone calls. Luckily, Guing Han is very busy, so the time she has to torture me is limited. I managed to copy 2 more scripts, but seeing as the short film is about to start filming, and I, the male lead, am still being threatened by Guing Han, coming to the office every day and going nowhere, I'm starting to panic. This afternoon, I sat on the sofa, watching Guing Han handle her work, thinking of a way to make her not want to see me anymore. She clearly hates me yet to torture me. She drags me to the company every single day. What she's doing is a kill 1,000 enemies, lose 800 allies kind of move. Maybe I should pull a dirty trick too. Guing Han happened to look up and saw me staring intently at her. One moment frowning, the next grinding my teeth, then smirking. She let out a cold laugh. What kind of evil scheme are you planning now? Is that brain of yours even enough to use? Do you need me to lend you some? Right then, Guing Han's phone rang. She glared at me and answered her mother's call. Your sister's family is visiting today. Remember to bring Xiaochen home for dinner tonight. The thing Gu Han hates most every time is having to take me back to the old mansion for dinner. In their eyes, I'm the only son of the Mu family. Marrying me was like hitting the jackpot. Eventually, everything in the Mu family would be hers. Every time they go back, everyone whispers in her ear, reminding her to treat me a bit better. No one cares if she actually likes me or not. After ending the call, she glared at me. We're heading to the old mansion for dinner. Hearing about dinner at the mansion, I thought to myself that heaven was truly helping me. My eyes lit up immediately. That look was exactly like the old me. Every time I heard about going back to the mansion, Guing Han's gaze darkened slightly. I stood up abruptly, full of energy, insisting on buying gifts. Guing Han's face was a mask of confusion. She loosened her tie a bit. No need. Just sit your butt down right here. Going to the mansion was what made the original host happiest, because the Gu parents were extremely satisfied with this son-in-law. At home, everyone took my side. Every time I'd arrive at the company early, waiting for her to finish work so we could go together, just so I could link arms with her when walking through the door. For that brief moment of intimacy, where she wouldn't push me away. It was also when Guing Han loathed me the most. Tonight I plan to gross her out so much she'll lose it, making her so disgusted and terrified that she'll never want to see me again. At 5:30 p.m., the car stopped in front of the Gu family villa. I stepped forward and directly grabbed her hand, fingers intertwined, skin-on-skin contact. This kind of revulsion is truly fatal, naturally. The moment I grabbed her, Guing Han's fingers went stiff. She paused her steps and looked at me. Sensing she wanted to pull back, I gripped even tighter, my thumb caressing the back of her hand. I don't want to act either, but your mom is watching. Mother Gu greeted us with a radiant smile. Chen Han, look at you two holding hands like that. The smile on her lips grew even brighter. I took the opportunity to wrap my arm around Guing Han's waist, leaning my head against her shoulder. Mom, we're back. I didn't have time to buy gifts for you and Dad. My body pressed against hers through the thin fabric. Guing Han's entire body tensed up. The fresh scent of shampoo wafted into my nose. I swallowed hard. I could sense her pure disgust, so I intentionally nuzzled closer into her arms. I have to admit, this woman's figure and waist are top tier. Our house doesn't lack anything. You two being so affectionate is the greatest gift for us parents. Seeing us so close, the parents couldn't stop smiling from ear to ear. In the past, every time I visited, I'd bring tons of gifts. But the news I brought was always about Guing Han treating me badly, making them worry sick. Quick, get inside. We were just waiting for you too. The parents didn't want to disturb our two-person world, so they hurried inside to share the good news. Guing Han looked down coldly at me. Are you done touching? I used to cling to her body before too, but back then I still cared about my rich young master image, never being this casual or blatant. At most, I just link arms and look at her with eyes full of love. But now I acted like a hungry tiger pouncing on prey. Yet my eyes held zero actual affection, like a playboy passing through 10,000 flowers. A total wanderer who doesn't let a single leaf stick to him. I wanted to touch her a bit more, but she pushed me away. I acted unsatisfied, fiddling with my fingertips. Even though I took the chance to feel you up, I wasn't just taking advantage of you for nothing. Didn't you see how happy your mom just was? Guing Han gave me a cold side eye and walked inside with her long legs. The drinks were already prepared. As soon as we entered, we sat at the table. Naturally, I sat right next to Guing Han. I peeked at the dishes on the table. The more I looked, the better my mood got. Mother Gu had always treated me very well. She immediately rotated the delicious dishes toward me. Chen, try this crab. It's authentic Yangcheng Lake hairy crab your sister brought back. I didn't stand on ceremony, taking one and placing it in front of Guing Han. Honey, peel this for me. My wrists are too sore to do it myself. Usually when dining, the original host was the one serving. Guing Han, cutting her food, pouring tea, and handing her napkins. He never once made Guing Han peel food for him. The moment I finished speaking, everyone at the table looked over. Guing Han narrowed her eyes at me coldly, her lips curling into a faint smile. I should peel it for you. How about you don't even eat the rice yourself, look. Wait for me to spoon feed you, perhaps. Mother Gu's face immediately darkened. Guing Han tit. How can you talk like that? Chen is your husband. What's wrong with peeling a crab for him? I went through the trouble of bringing these crabs back. If you don't want to peel them, then fine. It's okay if I don't eat, Mom. Mother Gu gave Guing Han a warning look. Chen, so. Just leave it there. Guing Han looked deep into my eyes, and finally relented, starting to peel the crab for me. I ate while praising how delicious it was. Mother Gu rotated the crab platter back to us. Guing Han peel another one for Chen. I looked toward Guing Han, my eyes flashing with clear provocation, acting like a spoiled brat. Wifey, I still want to eat one more. Guing Han shot me a look, suppressing her rage. I watched her peel the crab while under the table. I rubbed my foot against Guing Han's leg, following her calf bit by bit moving upward. Guing Han looked up, gritting her teeth at me. I acted like I didn't see a thing, staring back at her boldly as I continued. I wasn't scared. Guing Han's hands were busy peeling, so she couldn't do anything to me. During this entire meal, I gave it my all to make her feel disgusted. After eating, seeing how affectionate we were, the parents happily called us to the sofa to chat. Chen Ching Han, you two have been married for 2 years now? Your relationship is getting better and better every day. Isn't it about time to have a child? She won't even touch me. She can't even be bothered. How the heck is she planning for me to have a kid? I didn't hold back at all, taking the chance to grab Guing Han's hand, intertwining our fingers as I said, Mom, how is one enough? We've already discussed it thoroughly. We've decided to pop out a whole soccer team. Guing Han looked down and glared at me. I was planning to take this chance, to gross her out one more time. Suddenly, Guing Han wrapped her arm around my waist, a smile tugging at her lips as she nuzzled into me. Mom, it's getting late. We'll take our leave now. We'll work hard so you can carry a granddaughter soon. After saying that, she linked arms with me and stood up. I realized this woman had reached her breaking point. My mood was legendary. Walking out of the hall, I kept adding fuel to the fire, touching her waist and acting impatient for intimacy. You're being for real, Guing Han looked down and glared at me, her eyes pitch black. Deep in her gaze was a brewing thunderstorm, like a massive hurricane about to make landfall. I was mentally prepared for her to shove me away. Instead, that woman actually curled her lips. If that's what you want? Before she finished, Guing Han grabbed me and pinned me against a pillar, locking my lips in a deep kiss. Biting and gnawing, it was as violent as a raging storm. My eyes widened in total disbelief. My brain was buzzing. Wait, wasn't she supposed to be disgusted? Wasn't this supposed to be unbearable for her? What the heck is happening? I instinctively tried to push her away, making the woman let out a cold snort. Didn't you want to have a whole soccer team? Guing Han squeezed my wrist tight. Zhou Jingyao sized him up, clothes all messy. Lipstick not even wiped off yet. It didn't look like he lacked wine to drink, but more like he couldn't satisfy Mu Chen's needs. Mu Chen looked absolutely pathetic, like he just escaped from a bed. Guing Han coldly glanced around. Everyone get lost. 4,995 Zhou Jingyao, not fearing death, continued. Zhou Jingyao, not fearing death, continued. Looks like I hit the nail on the head, Zhou Jingyao added. It's not a big deal. I'll find some supplements for you one of these days. I guarantee. Before he could finish, Guing Han threw a wine bottle out. The bottle shattered instantly. The room went deathly silent. The three watched her drink another glass of wine in silence. Guing Han undid her collar button, her cold gaze fixed on them. Listen clearly, all of you. I don't like him at all. Stop mentioning him to me. He's the one who brought him humiliation. The man he hates the most. He only wants revenge. How could he possibly like me? The three of them glanced at her, then exchanged meaningful looks. Before quietly leaving, Su Jingyao raised her glass to drink. Zhou Jingyao followed suit, raising his glass. Song Qingyuan also raised his glass to drink. I was driven back by the Gu family chauffeur. Seeing that Guing Han hadn't returned yet, I took a shower and went straight to bed. When I woke up in the morning and checked my phone, Guing Han still hadn't replied. Only Liu Ruyan had sent me a message a few minutes ago. Hey, filming starts tomorrow. When are you coming to the set? I replied, today. Liu Ruyan immediately pressed for details. When exactly? Let me come help you with your luggage. Acting as the male and female leads, just thinking about it made me look forward to it. I got up to pack my things in suitcases. Driving myself for 2 hours would be exhausting. I took a taxi instead and it stopped right in front of the hotel. After paying, I hopped out and went to get my luggage from the trunk. Liu Ruyan, who had been waiting there the whole time, immediately ran over to me. I was wearing a hat and a mask. Seeing the trunk open, she stepped up to help. I've got this. Saving this kid wasn't in vain, so I didn't stand on ceremony with her. Finished reading the script yet? Liu Ruyan followed me while pulling the luggage. I finished it. Her eyes were practically glued to me. This is the first time I've seen this kind of script. I really love it. Isn't it just another dog blood romance drama? Even though it's a romance drama, the idea of living a different life after being reborn is truly special. Liu Ruyan looked at me, thinking back to how Guing Han treated me so harshly last time. Brother Mu Chen, if life could really start all over again, would you still choose to marry Guing Han? I gave her a radiant smile. If I could truly do it over, I definitely wouldn't give up the entire forest for just one tree. Liu Ruyan glanced at me. Looks like you. Regret marrying her then? I took a look at her. Who doesn't have regrets in life? Regret isn't scary. What's scary is staying drowned in that regret forever, forgetting that a better version of yourself is ahead. Her dream was to become a painter, but her parents chose the acting path for her instead. All these years, she had always been full of regret, wallowing in that remorse. That was also one of the reasons that led to her clinical depression. Liu Ruyan looked at me, always feeling like there was an aura around me that was nothing like the rumors. Chatting with me, she felt very relieved. In a flash, we had arrived in front of the room door. She took out the room card and handed it to me. Here's your room card. I'm right across from you. If you need any help, just call me. I went to my room to tidy up and it was almost noon. Thinking about Liu Ruyan's depression, I invited her to have lunch together. I planned that, while at the film set, I would look out for her more. I invited her along for every single meal. The next day, we both arrived at the set together. A handsome guy and a beautiful girl. They immediately attracted everyone's gaze. Mu Chen and Liu Ruyan are arriving together. Is he really planning to act in this movie? Act what kind of acting? He's not a professional, and he has zero experience. What kind of mess will a movie he stars in be? I think he's clearly targeting Liu Ruyan, investing in it just to star in it himself. He's just using the movie to take advantage of her. I heard there are quite a few kiss scenes. That's just the power of money for you. If I had that kind of cash, I'd play around like that too. Who wouldn't love a young, fairy-like girl? No one could have guessed that a Mu family heir, who usually just chases women, would actually act. I didn't care about everyone focusing on me, with their gossip and nosy stares. After the opening ceremony ended, we began. Makeup and filming. I've been working since I was 18. Selling liquor in bars. Doing deliveries. Working as a clerk and even doing extra work. Plus, since I've seen this movie before, I had how to act down to a science. During filming, occasionally, I'd give some advice to my co-stars. Liu Ruyan and I had the most scenes together. Liu Ruyan, as an experienced actress, saw a rookie like me with such rich skills and zero stage fright. During the break, the way she looked at me became even more curious. Seeing me using my script as a fan, she took out her handheld electric fan, turned it on and handed it to me. Use this, brother. I came in a hurry, so I didn't have time to prepare these things. It really is burning hot. I didn't stand on ceremony, taking the fan and letting it blast. My face, which was flushing red from the heat. I'll buy one when I get back. Liu Ruyan handed it to me. This is a gift for you. I still have another one. Liu Ruyan looked at me, her eyes sparkling. Brother, you're nothing like the rumors. I smiled. That's why rumors aren't reliable. After fanning myself, I pointed it toward her face. Aren't you hot too? Liu Ruyan seemed completely unfazed. I was used to the whispering around us. Look, this doesn't look like filming at all. They're clearly just using the movie's name as an excuse to date in public. Didn't he say he loved Guing Han to death before? Wealthy families have no real feelings. Look at him and Liu Ruyan flirting with their eyes. He really doesn't give a damn about Guing Han anymore. At the Gu Group CEO's office, Guing Han finished her work. She rubbed her temples. Pour me a glass of water. Receiving no response. She instinctively looked up, belatedly realizing I wasn't there. My face suddenly flashed in her mind again. The warmth from my fingertips last night, and the softness of my lips. She reached up to loosen her collar. Her phone rang. Opening it, she saw it was a photo. In the photo, I was holding a small electric fan, pointing it at Liu Ruyan with a radiant smile. Liu Ruyan was looking at me with sparkling eyes, her face slightly blushing. I sent a message along with it. I'm paying a lot of attention to the leads. What do you think of this atmosphere? Guing Han replied, it's a mess. After replying, she tossed her phone aside, ignoring it as she opened her laptop to continue working. The first day of filming went very smoothly. By the time we finished, it was already 8 p.m. The director gave them a few photos for marketing. The original host's account also had a few million followers. Many of them were anti-fans just waiting to see me make a fool of myself. Another portion was there because I occasionally flexed my happy marriage and held giveaways. So there were fans who complimented me every day. I wiped all the previous posts. All the content expressing love for Guing Han was deleted. Then I posted a promotional piece. Liu Ruyan, who has over 20 million followers, shot up to the hot search as soon as she posted. Liu Ruyan starring in a new movie with Mu Chen. Fans of Liu Ruyan and Mu Chen caused a massive stir. At this moment, the wealthy young master Mu Chen, who used to only revolve around Guing Han, running around, busily trying to suck up to her. He knows how to act. If that guy knows how to act, then I can win an Oscar for Best Actor right now. The rumors say Guing Han likes Chen Zhe. Mu Chen entering the entertainment industry. Could it be to compete with Chen Zhe? Is that why he snatched up his on-screen lover? Who just got famous? What's her background anyway? No backing. Relying on her own hard work to rise up. Only then achieving what she has today. Liu Ruyan, compared to that young master who's a laughingstock, who knows nothing but tailing Guing Han. The fans are collectively demanding justice for Liu Ruyan. Angry fans are flooding my DMs, but it seems they still have a bit of class. Mu Chen, please look in a mirror. Okay, you're so excellent. Our girl is basically not even qualified to be your background. You deserve better things. At least someone at the level of a film queen, it would suit you. The proverb says there are 360 trades and each has its master. Big bro, can you please stop joining the industry for fun? The industry isn't worthy of your noble vibe. Is the Mu family about to go bankrupt? If you're short on cash, I'll donate some to you. A young master should stay home and be a young master. Why come out and work so hard for money? I acted like I had vanished, giving zero response. People then started DMing Guing Han with the same collective slogan: please take your husband back home. Don't let him stay in the entertainment industry and embarrass you any further. Su Jingyao shared the hot search in the group. Is the sun rising from the west? Mu Chen is actually going into acting. Zhou Jingyao chimed in. Mu Chen is starring alongside that little fairy. Song? King Yuan guessed. Surely he doesn't think Qing Han is getting old. So he wants to chase this little fairy, right? Su Jingyao hurriedly tried to mediate, telling them to stop teasing him. Guing Han tossed her phone aside, gossiping first and then saying not to tease. What a bunch of weirdos. I hid the fact that I was acting for my family. I didn't even tell Bai Ningbing. As soon as Bai Ningbing saw the hot search, she video called me immediately. I just finished showering and was drying my hair when I picked up. You went to act in a movie without giving me a heads up. Bai Ningbing looked at me through the screen. I could sense in her eyes a depth that seemed to want to see right through me, flickering with a hint of displeasure. I casually dried my hair. Didn't I want to give you a surprise? Bai Ningbing looked at me silently, suppressed emotions gathering in the depths of her eyes. I don't want this kind of surprise. Then what do you want, though? Wait until I make some money, then I'll buy it for you. I smiled at her with a red mark on my face. Bai Ningbing's joy was obvious. I want to spend every penny you earn. I let out a soft chuckle. Fine, bye. I hung up. Then my mother's call came in. Mu Chen, Wiki, why did you suddenly go off to act in a movie? Are you short on cash? Just tell me. Our family has money. My parents always complained I earned too little. Yet they were always worried I wasn't living well, constantly sending me money. This kind of love made my fatigue from the whole day vanish. Quite a bit. Mom, I'm not short on money. I just want to build a career, to be like other people's kids, earning money for my parents to spend. Wen Yudong, hearing how sensible I had become, was so moved that her nose felt stingy, and her eyes turned red. This child? Your parents have money to spend. You don't need to go out and earn such hard-earned money. I acted spoiled. Mom, you're really spoiling me too much. Is there any other kid this old who still wanders around all day, living off their parents like I do? Just wait until I make some money. I'll let Dad retire, then take Mom to travel around the world. When Yudong had her speakerphone on, Mu Zhanzhang, sitting nearby reading a magazine, heard my words and pushed up his glasses, laughing heartily. Fine. I'll be waiting. You've been filming all day. You must be tired. After the call, I went straight to sleep, not even bothering with the hashtags. My informant sent over. Meanwhile, seeing everyone online slandering me, Liu Ruyan couldn't help but go on her fan. Super topic to clarify. I'm the one who proactively wanted this role, because the script is actually amazing. He's a very good person. And his acting is great too. Please believe me. Just wait for the show to air. Out of 10 times I hit the hot search 9 were about me using my family's power and influence to get jealous over women and bully people. I never studied acting and had zero filming experience. Claiming that I could act well, the fans believed it even less. Sister, if you've been kidnapped, just give us a sign. We'll call the police for you. Your account is definitely being controlled by the company. The Mu family is bullying you like this? They really don't respect us fans at all. No one believed her. Thinking Liu Ruyan was being coerced, she released a screenshot of a message where she begged me for the role. Fans saw the screenshot and became even more skeptical. This photo is clearly photoshopped. No way our girl is a simp. She would never grovel to Mu Chen like that. Pfft. Our girl. Begging to act with Mu Chen Ti. If you're going to try, at least make the Photoshop a bit more believable. She's so pitiful. The company, for Mu Chen's sake, completely ignored her reputation and her image. Liu Ruyan got anxious and started a live stream. I wasn't coerced at all. No one has hacked my account either. The fans continued to wail, our beloved sister. Are you being forced to say that if? Yes, then blink your eyes, sob, sob, hugging you. Don't be afraid, sister. The Wilderness fans will always be by your side. In the morning, when I called Liu Ruyan for breakfast, I was startled by the heavy, dark circles under her eyes. What were you doing last night? Thinking about her depression. I couldn't help but check her face for any signs. I had insomnia. Liu Ruyan looked at me and realized I was extremely energetic, my face glowing, showing absolutely no sign of being bothered by the online drama. She touched her own head. It's nothing, I just played on my phone too late. I glanced at her as we walked. Busy all day and you're not tired? Well, you still have the energy to play on your phone. Luckily, while eating breakfast, I opened my phone to browse the news a bit and immediately scrolled past the hot search. Liu Ruyan responded 3 times in a row. Our girl has been debuted for so many years, and she's rarely ever responded. What virtue or talent? Does Mu Chen have to be graced 3 times in one night? Anyone can see our girl was forced. The company wants to hype up Mu Chen, so they're forcing our sister to lie like that. Just thinking about her having to smile while praising Mu Chen so ridiculously makes my heart ache. I'm literally dying of pity for her. I'm so mad I can't sleep. I just want to hit someone. The comment section was completely one-sided. Doubting that, the screenshots of the messages Liu Ruyan posted were fake. Liu Ruyan's account has been seized by the company. Even during the live stream, the fans felt she was forced by the company to say those things. The more she stood up for me, the more dissatisfied the fans became with me. My DMs were blowing up. It was all demands for justice for Liu Ruyan. Liu Ruyan looked at me anxiously. Brother, maybe you should stop looking at your phone. I put my phone down and looked at her. Did you stay up late just to help me clarify things? Liu Ruyan looked at me with a bit of embarrassment. Her naturally affectionate puppy eyes were now tinged with self-blame. I didn't expect my help to make things worse. I thought if I said it, they would believe me. I smiled to comfort her. I'm very happy that you spoke up for me like that. Pausing for a moment, I continued, but don't do that again next time. I don't care at all what they say about me. In my eyes, your well-being is much more important than those things. A hint of a smile flashed in Liu Ruyan's eyes. These dark circles, they'll disappear once I put on makeup later. I promise it won't affect the filming. I nodded. Hurry up and eat. Liu Ruyan took 2 sips of porridge, then looked at me with eyes nearly welling up. Brother, I messed everything up. Do you really not blame me? I laughed out loud. Who said you messed up? It's thanks to your response that the whole internet believes you're being coerced. They're probably all waiting for the release to see me become a joke. The hype is already there. Expectations are high and it didn't cost a cent. I'd give you a perfect score for this marketing move. Liu Ruyan was overjoyed. Really. Her face immediately brightened up. That happiness from being praised. Kids will be kids. They really love being complimented. After eating, we both headed to the set to start another busy day of filming. Liu Ruyan and I were filming a jealousy scene. While we were acting, a luxury car pulled up, not far away. Bai Ningbing stepped out holding her bag, opening the car door for Wen Yudong and shielding her from the sun. She then instructed the assistant to bring the prepared sweets and drinks for everyone to the set. Wen Yudong walked hurriedly, clearly showing her impatience. In this heat, there isn't even an air conditioner. How can Mu Chen handle this? He hasn't had to suffer like this since he was a kid. Bai Ningbing calmly replied. He's not stupid. If he felt he was suffering, he'd run away faster than anyone else. The fact that he isn't running means he's fine with it. Bai Ningbing walked leisurely behind her, her eyes already searching for my figure. Then she saw Liu Ruyan pulling my hand, pulling me straight into her arms as we locked eyes. The hand holding her bag suddenly tightened.